I'm not mad. I am mad.
I would hope that at the top of this, people are getting popular, disseminating good information, and not being grossly irresponsible and hyping everybody up on a bunch of stuff that I would have expected you to know wasn't true.
And I want you to justify why you're saying that, and I want you to answer for everything you're saying.
Holy shit, you think that's a bad thing? That I'm just asking you to explain stuff you've already said publicly on your own? You are attacking one of the big guys, and all the other big guys are behind you making money off the fight, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. It's going to be the other massive asset managers like BlackRock or all the other massive hedge funds that are also have longer positions on this.
And one thing Robinhood does is for new users, the first $1,000 you deposit, they'll instantly give that to you as margin because they expect it to clear because they want you to come in. And their risk threshold is you're probably not going to lose that $1,000 before you cancel that, or enough people won't do it that it's worthwhile.
StockGuy asked in Twitch chat if you want to chat. If he wants to, yeah. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Not bad, not bad. What's going on?
I feel like all of the major memes regarding the GME stuff has been like pretty disingenuously stated over most of the internet. I haven't seen as much of your stuff recently. It kind of felt like you were behind a lot of that, or not behind it, but that you were kind of on board with a lot of the messaging. So I guess I just kind of wanted to poke your brain in terms of what you think about things.
I mean, I don't know. This is just a once in a lifetime phenomenon, and
wait, once in a lifetime? How? Like, what part of it is once in a lifetime? I'm just curious.
I would say once in a lifetime, where I would say in our lifetime at least, with the influence of social media. If something like this happened 25 years ago, you wouldn't have the entire world via social media jumping on a story like this and rallying to buy a dead stock to stick it to the man. All at the same time. I think it's really, it may happen in the future. They may put regulations in to stop it, but I think it's an amazing thing to watch unfold, and I think it's awesome that I'm able to be caught up in it.
Okay, when we say regulations to stop it, what exactly are we talking about? Or what do you, or here's, I guess, a way to start the conversation. Do you think something has happened in this whole fiasco that's like wrong or that should be regulated against?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of certain regulations. I mean, I don't like over regulations in a lot of things, but at the same time, in a case like this, I mean, this is what I think. I think that there's too much money involved in politics, and the people who are being exposed for their crap are going to get away with it, just like 2008. And somebody will make some kind of statement, and we're going to put this in place or whatever. And then it's all going to go back to the status quo, and they'll just put a thing in place that says you can't, naked short a certain amount of float of a stock, or you can't do this. I mean, like I said,
I'm just trying to catch up. So, because I have so many questions. So firstly, the naked short thing is a huge meme, right? Look, nobody actually thinks that anybody naked short anything, right?
It's partly meme, but I think what they mean by naked short is people are saying, well, if you're able to short over 100%, it can't be covered, so people will call that naked shorting.
Well, but you can short over 100% and cover it, right? Like you can lend a stock to somebody, and they can lend it to somebody else, and everybody can cover themselves doing that, and you can short over 100% of a stock without anybody doing any kind of naked shorts, right?
Well, like I said, I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm not
naked shorting by definition though is illegal. This is like my problem with the way that because people will say like, oh, well, they're naked shorting. It's like, okay, well, they're not really. It's like, okay, sure, but like I'm not saying it should be illegal. Well, but naked shorting is illegal. It's been illegal, right? That's a super mega illegal thing. Is when you short a stock and you have no way to actually get it or even have a plan to get it. That's like an explicitly illegal thing.
And I agree with you. I think that the term is being thrown around incorrectly.
Sure.
But I think it's a way that people are using. I think what's happening is people are using that term as a way of either sensationalizing or using it as a way to explain it to people in a way that, because for example, like selling an option naked, right? Everyone knows that if you sell an option naked, it means you don't own the underlying equity, right? So you're selling that option naked. So I think people are trying to use it as a way of trying to explain it, either, like I said, either sensationalizing or using it as a way to explain it in a way that makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess, but the problem is that it clearly doesn't make sense the way that people are using it, and one, and then two, it feels like people are just using this as a way to like attack shorting, period. Like the thing is that like when I look into this, I don't know what people are actually upset about. Cause so like I started off asking you because I'm curious, because you brought up like maybe there's going to be regulations against what's happening. I don't think anything that's happened is bad. Like what is the problem? That's why I asked, like, what needs to be regulated?
Things get regulated off of outrage all the time. I mean, what I'm saying is that there's going to be regulations is in either because here's the thing, the government loves to say that they're going to do something to protect people, right? We always pull on the heartstrings. Like, for example, when the Patriot Act came out, right? Not to get too political here, but when the Patriot Act came out, there was all these people saying, well, they're going to go into my, take all my phone records and all of my internet search history and stuff like that. They're violating my privacy, but it's in the best interest. We're protecting you because you're caught up in it, but it's to catch the bad guys, right? So in this case, I mean, look at the way that day trading used to be. Okay, so you used to be able to day trade no problem. Then all of a sudden they said, hey, we have to make it to where if you have under $25,000, unless you have a cash account, and then you have to still wait for funds to settle, you can only do 3-day trades. Why are we doing that? Because we're trying to protect the American people. We're trying to protect the little guy because we don't want them to just blow all their money. Wait, but I can still go into a casino and put $4,000, $5,000 on red or black, right? Yeah, no problem. So wait, how are you protecting me? But somebody with $50 billion or $50 million.
Wait, to be clear, let's be really clear here, though. Okay, when we talk about going into a casino and losing your money, you're talking about losing the money that you have. When we talk about like trading on margin, you could be losing money that you don't actually have. There's a difference.
I can take out a loan from the casino. I can take an advance on my credit card.
Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be really clear. First of all, my understanding, as somebody that's worked in casinos and been in Vegas, I've never in my life heard of casinos giving loans. They might do that, but did you just mean you could take out like a loan at a bank and go gamble it?
Yes, you can take out a loan. You can take out credit on the casino, depending on your history. I think what I'm doing is I'm over trying to overmake my point. What I was just trying to say is that it's always the regulations. I think coming out of this will probably sound like they're helping the little guy, but actually hurt people more. And I'm not defending the big banks or the institutions.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what happened here that was so wrong. Like what's happened here that's like needs to be like. Do you think, I'm not asking, I guess, from a government point of view, like because everybody seems to be so upset. But I don't know what people are mad at. It just seems like people just want to get mad about something. And now we have this unprecedented access to these stocks because all of these little brokerages are coming out on mobile apps that you could access with like 0 fees and everything. So everybody wants to jump in. But like, what are people actually upset about? Like, why are people, like, what's happened that's so wrong?
It's okay. So I think this started as a way of screwing over the big guy. And then it snowballed into this movement of, there's disinformation, but I think it snowballed into a movement of, hey, we're going to get together to take on the big guy, regardless of how the spark started. That's kind of what it's turned into. And
do you think it's a little irresponsible that people are leading the charge to a bunch of retailers that are jumping on the stock when it's $200, $300, $400, $500, knowing that they're going to be the ones left holding this, that they're going to be bag holding until this thing goes to zero? Like,
for example, on my stream, I keep telling everybody, hey, listen, this is going to come back down. Look at Volkswagen. The short squeeze of Volkswagen years ago. Somebody got caught at $110 and they're still bag holding. I've been telling everybody on my stream, and I'm very, very transparent. Listen, guys, this is fun, but anything you got in this better be something you're willing to go to zero for, because the second that this stock goes back to something of normalcy, even if it's the high end of $50 or $60, you're losing everything. So it's either for the principal, if you feel like there's a principal here, or, you better get out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree with that. I guess my biggest problem with this is that it feels like people on the back of a whole bunch of misinformation are leading a whole bunch of people into what is, in my opinion, essentially a Ponzi scheme. Like, there's a whole bunch of people that have jumped in on this early at $30 a share, which is awesome. But then you've got a ton of newer people that have jumped in at like $100 or $200 who are now screaming at everybody else to buy and hold forever so that they can close their position without taking massive fucking losses, because everybody knows that this stock is going to $10 or $15 when people start fucking selling off, right?
Of course. And I've been making that very clear on my stream. I've had a big audience recently, and I've been telling them all, guys, listen, this is going to come back down. And I said it 100 times. Listen, 6 months from now, a year from now, this is not going to be anywhere near it is now. Now, if you want to hold it to prop the price up, to hope that the big guy has to cover his shorts and screw them over, and it's all about principle, go for it. But this is not going to last.
Do you really think that the retailers are the ones that are keeping the price up, though? You think that the retailers are having more of an impact?
Got BlackRock and those guys who went in and bought a shitload of it.
Massive asset managers and other hedge funds too, right? Like, I don't think retailers are like, if I could give like honest honest, heartfelt advice, I think every single retailer should have sold yesterday and have been like fucking on, like out, like immediately. Like, because it's no way that retailers are the ones fucking over the fund managers now, right? Like there are other huge asset managers and other players.
They started it. That's where the momentum, because I mean, look at Robinhood and these other brokerages, right? I'm not going to say too many names for obviously for legal reasons. I don't want to get sued or anything, but I mean, look at it this way, right? So you have companies like whatever, a certain firm who pays a lot of money to a broker to front run customers, right? So we're going to pay a lot of money to you to give us the orders that all of your customers are getting, front run them, and make money off of it, right? So you've got this going on. Well, technically that's legal because Congress made it, even though you're not supposed to give preferential treatment. You're supposed to make it out into the market, the whole 9 yards, whatever. So I think what happens is it was all a kind of a meme until what they did yesterday, which was we're shutting down all the retailers from being able to enter or close or do anything with this.
Well, hold on. Wait. Let's be really clear. It wasn't from closing. You still have the ability to sell to close your position, right?
You could sell, but you couldn't sell to other retailers. You had to sell at very small amounts because the other retailers on the platform could not buy. And so therefore, the only people you can sell to are large firms or people with access behind the scenes who can put in those orders. And they could put in a buy order with a bid of 50% lower or 10% lower. And that's who you're selling to, because you can't sell to other retailers trying to jack up the price.
I don't think that's right or not. I don't think that retailers were the ones that are keeping this security where it is. Right? Why? Like, what is the conspiracy?
Well,
why do people feel like why do people feel like the trading was shut down?
Well, let me put it this way. So if there was just a bunch of people, let's say on one website on Reddit that were doing this, right? Okay, maybe they're not moving it. But by yesterday, you had enough people around the world wanting to put money into this. And whether it's right or wrong, I'm not encouraging or discouraging it. I'm just an entertainer, but enough people around the world that actually could keep afloat on it, right? And so, and then you've got this stock artificially or, properly based on, the amount of equity flowing in, keeping it at that level. And it's like, okay, behind the scenes, the stuff that's going on, why is this happening? Why is a platform like Robinhood stopping this? And then people started putting it together and saying, well, that certain company is also a big investor in them. And, they're also bailing out this other, or floating this other equity firm. And
but that's not the reason given by any of these companies for why they stopped allowing buy orders on some of these stocks.
No, the reason is always to protect you and mitigate your risk.
No, that's not the reason. The reason
that's what they said.
No, that's not what they said. What they said was that the collateralization of a lot of these newer positions became untenable, that there are billions of these orders flying around, that they're not able to collateralize this many buy orders, that none of the clearinghouses had the capital, or none of the brokerages had the capital to meet any of the margins that the clearinghouses wanted people to meet, so they weren't able to open any more positions here. That's why they closed it out on like 3 or 4 or 5 of these tickers. I don't remember which ones they did.
They did it on a lot more than that. They did it on GameStop, AMC, Nokia. They did it on that. And
on all the ultra high volume tickers. But like we have this like grand conspiracy where they're like shutting down traders to fuck over retailers. But I think it's like incredibly reasonable that you see the volatility in these stocks is incredibly high. The collateral the clearinghouse are going to ask for is going to be incredibly high. Like the brokerages don't have the liquidity for billions of these fucking trades every day. I don't think that's an unbelievable position.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And what I'm getting at, though, is that I think the retailers jumped on that and they thought, okay, we're going to take advantage of this. And that's where a lot of this momentum has come from. For example, I'll give you a great example today, like Robinhood, right? They shut down the ability to buy a lot of these to one share. And then other times they just set it down. Okay, you can buy and sell. And like I said, there's a lot of hype around this, and it's a lot of movement around this, and a lot of emotion around this. And I'll be the entertainer and get it going and have fun with it. It's a good moment here. But I do think that there is a lot of questions that come from this, and that's that.
But this is my question. This is what I keep trying to find out because people keep vaguely you're a cool dude and I like you and I don't like burn a bridge that I haven't even built yet or whatever. But my issue is that it seems like a lot of people are leading the charge on this, running on pure emotional fumes, but there's like no factual basis behind any of the claims being made. So for instance, the idea that there's this huge conspiracy that because of Citadel's involvement, the trades are being shut down, and that's why you can't buy any of these things, but you can still sell them. Well, how does that make sense? Well, because you don't have to collateralize sales, because anybody can always close a position, but opening a new one requires like collateral, right? Because as you said, trades take 2 days to clear. These clearinghouses have to front all the capital for it. It makes sense why they would shut down trades in some of these, right? We have historic conditions leading to historic numbers of people that are trying to buy these securities. But like people are running around with these crazy conspiracies. And then my question to the end of the day is that I've never heard a good answer is what's happened that's actually wrong? Like what happened that is wrong here that needs to be regulated? Why is everybody so upset about everything? I don't understand.
I think the reason that people are upset is it feels like, and this is where I think this is all running on emotion more than anything. And that's why I said that, it started as a small, like a little snowball that rolled down a hill. I think it's starting on emotion, and it's gone more from what actually happened to, I don't want to call it a movement, but an idea that the little guy gets a chance.
Yeah, but like as content creators, we're kind of like on the top of that charge, right? In terms of leading the people in. So I'm asking you, because I'm hoping you're not going to say, well, I'm running on emotion too, right? Or you're running on emotion too, right? Like, what do you feel like there's been like an actual wrong that's been committed, or something that like shouldn't have happened? Like, what happened here that shouldn't have happened? That you think like, well, this was like morally wrong or something, or this needs to be regulated against, or this should be against the law.
I don't want to talk law because I'm not a lawyer. So I'm just going to say that. It's not avoiding it, but I got to be very, very careful here, because the last thing I need is somebody saying, well, this guy is talking legal advice. I think that the ability to short a company over 100% of the shares, 100% of the float itself, I think that there should be something that avoids that. You know what I mean? Because, you can manipulate a stock. I'll give you an example. Let's say JP Morgan or, Goldman or any of those guys come out and say, we're downgrading a stock. Right?
Okay.
Is that considered manipulation, or is that considered the opinion?
Well, technically everything is manipulating a stock's price. Like you literally,
exactly.
If I go onto Vanguard and I buy or sell a security, I'm manipulating the price.
The reason everyone's getting all up in arms, at least from my opinion, because like I said, I don't run these forums online. Mm-hmm. From a lot of people's opinions, the idea is this was all fun and games until they started getting blamed. Like, this is all their fault.
Wait,
this is the retail traders' fault. All the pundits that went on the news cycle, right? They come out and they say, a bunch of idiots online are manipulating the stock. They're pumping and dumping the stock.
I don't even think anybody's actually argued that. There was that one clip of that guy on, I think it was CNBC or whatever, that was like spliced together from two separate things, where he was talking about like one of Biden's policies, and people cut the video together to make it sound like he was blaming traders or something that's happened about hating rich people. There's like that one clip I'm familiar with. I can shoot you a link to how that video was spliced together, if you're curious.
Yeah, and there's a few of them, but like I said, there's so much out there right now that it's more of this. I don't want to equate it to the Occupy Wall Street movement. Okay, I don't want to do that because like I said, that turns at politics. I'm an entertainer. I talk stocks. I teach people about personal finance and about being smart with their money and getting out of debt and all that stuff like that. And I talk stocks, right? So I'm an entertainer. And when it comes to something like this, I don't want to make it into a political issue. But I think that this is such a great underdog story feeling that comes from this. And I think I think it's more being run on emotions than, actual legal ramifications.
Yeah, but this is my problem. When we say coming like an underdog, there is no underdog winning here, right? Like a few of the retailers that got in early might be winning, but everybody that's jumping on
these guys on stream all the time, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to make it easier for you or allow you to have the same capital or the same ability to have stuff behind the scenes that these other guys are. But in this moment of time, in a time when we have so much going on, around the world and people being beat down, that it's just a and I talked to that with AOC last night. I was like, it feels like people have the ability to stand up to the big guy.
But they don't. What? This isn't that at all. It's just somebody got fucked trying to short a company. But this happens. This happens a ton. Look at how many people have tried to short Tesla and have gotten fucked on it. Like, this is why Elon cries about short sellers all the time. Like this, in terms of like, this is historic because of the unprecedented number of people with access to these trading apps. But it's not historic in terms of like, one fund tried to short a company and got fucked massively on it. Like, this stuff has happened before. Like this isn't,
Yeah,
and it's going to happen in the future.
2008. I mean, it happened in 2008
yeah, with
the housing
Volkswagen
crisis.
Sure.
And in the housing crisis too, the only people that got fucked over were the people that actually tried to go, and I hate to make this sound political, but it's like Bernie Madoff, right? Like he got screwed because he decided to go after rich people rather than, the people that got screwed over in the poor. At the end of the day, everyone is always going to get screwed.
Well,
and I think that
the problem is
it started as an internet thing on a certain website, on a certain forum on Reddit. And then it just kind of mutated, and so many people got behind it that it became almost like a movement. Like, listen, if we keep this stock at a certain level, we'll have to make this other capital firm that had this float of shares that are shorting, make them cover it, and then it's going to jack the price up. Everybody on the little guy makes money, the big guy loses money. That was the story. That's kind of what this was running on.
Yeah, I guess it's just sad because most of the people making the money off of this are going to be other large firms like.
Oh yeah, I mean, guys like the bigger ones are going to run in there and jump it. I mean, like I said, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes with this, arguing the legality of it. Obviously, they're not doing anything illegal. I mean, the SEC is making a statement that they're going to investigate it. You got Congress doing an investigation, trying to get behind this and see, if this is legal or illegal. But at this point, it's not even about the legality of it.
I guess I don't understand anything. I just don't understand any of your positions. So do you just observe all this and you just think it's all like funny and that's it? Or because it feels like you don't, I'm trying to feel like, you don't feel like anything wrong was done, or you don't feel like any grave error was committed, or that anything needs to be changed in terms of regulation, or that you just.
As in, like, do I think that something should be changed from this?
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see some change come out of this. I know nothing will change.
Well, like what change? That's what I'm asking. What change needs to happen? Because everybody seems so mad and wants things to change, but I don't know what happened that people are so upset about. Like, should you not be able to short a company? If somebody lends you a security to short, should you not be allowed to short that thing so that you don't reach that 140%, shorting of floated stocks? Or like, what do you mean? Like, that's what I'm asking. Like, what needs to change? Like, what happened here that's so wrong that it has to not happen again?
In this specific incident with GameStop, AMC, and all those, or are you talking about just in the back
just
end?
From this, like what
order?
needs to come from this? Like when we look at the, like in terms of like if a big political scandal happens and you're like, okay, we need to make this regulation so this can't happen anymore because this was bad and we identified this. After the housing crisis, when it was like investment banks can't sell mortgages, like stuff like this, and like what's a change that should come out of this? I guess.
Well, I mean, think about the mortgage crisis, right? So what happened during the mortgage crisis technically wasn't illegal, right? I mean, you had Clinton, start the I forgot the exact name of the bill that he put out, which was about giving equal opportunity into low income housing, right? So it was like we started with, let's make a more opportunity for people who normally wouldn't be able to get a loan, right? So that's kind of where it started, and then it got taken advantage of. Well, now you might ask me, well, tell me where it exactly got taken advantage of, and I mean, we could go down the road of how the subprime mortgages were given out, knowing that they'd never pay it back, and they were packaging it up and selling it off, and these securities were getting bought up, and we could do that. But at the end of the day, people would say, well, what did they do that's illegal?
Well, yeah. So then we would try to change things like that, right? And
I mean, for example, in this specific institute, I think a lot of people are looking at this and saying, I don't think that some large corporation should be able to 140% short a company.
So if they were just 100% shorting it, everybody would be okay. Like that's the problem.
No, I don't think that. I'm not going to speak for everybody. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to trap me.
I'm not trying to trap you. I just want your opinion because you're part of the big people. You talked AOC and everybody's all mad and politicized this. And I'm just trying to figure out what change you want because everybody seems so fucking mad about this. Like some huge error has been committed. I see people throwing around a whole bunch of weird. I see you included throwing around like naked shorting, even though that's not happening, or that like some new regulation. And I'm just curious, like what happened that is wrong that needs to change? Like that's just what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, I think that what the issue is, and we're gonna have to wait until all of this dust settles and there's actually some kind of investigation to find out if there's anything wrong or technically legal or illegal. I think that a lot of what this started from was that it came from the idea that this company can short a company 140%, right? 140%.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that? If you think a company is going down, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And then all of a sudden you get all this buy up happening, right? Whether it's from retail traders or if it's from a movement or whether it's from another equity firm that's buying it up, which now causes this company to start getting stuck in a short squeeze, right? Potentially short squeeze. And so all of a sudden there's this underlying, outlook that people are looking at and they're saying, hey, wait a second. This company is now scrambling to cover it. And it seems rather fishy. okay, that a lot of these things that are going on just happen to correlate at the time, right? Like nobody shut this security down, a week ago, not 3 days ago.
Well,
but all of
because
a
there
sudden
wasn't unprecedented trading volume around it a week ago.
there already was, and we were pushing
No, there
to a point where the
wasn't.
shorts were covered. Oh,
You can
telling me how-
literally, you can literally watch these brokerages, Robinhood included, are like scrambling to try to get the credit for their clearinghouses to collateralize these sales. It's
Yes,
not
and
at
what
all.
happens is they end up a lot of these brokerages, a lot of these capital firms. What they do is they put these out on basically a credit, right? They're basically saying, okay, we're going to lend this all out. We don't have the capital to cover it, right? So, for example, for me, if I'm gonna naked sell something, right, and I'm about to get called on it, I have to margin call, right? I have to cover the money.
Okay.
And so what they're saying is that all of a sudden now, you've got this capital firm bailing out this capital firm because they knew the risk they were taking by loaning out this, and then all of a sudden it becomes this whole thing. And this is where I'm not speaking for that forum on Reddit where it's like, oh, you guys did this, or market manipulation, or we got to get the SEC involved, or this is a problem here because these guys are manipulating the market, or they shouldn't be allowed to do that. And that resonated with a lot of people, and so it became a David versus Goliath issue.
I don't understand.
I thought we were coming on to chat and bullshit about like the economy and stuff, man. I didn't know we were gonna like try to get into the nuts and bolts.
Well, because my issue is that there's so much misinformation flying around here, and everybody that's on the top of this is like riding high on the political messaging, spreading the rumors that like, well, they shut down trading for no good reason. They shut down trading because they're evil. And it's like, well, no, they probably shut the trading down because Americans have a lot of fucking money from 2020 where we did nothing. We saved an unprecedented rates. We got paid out a ton. There is no sports betting right now. Everybody and their fucking mom has a fucking brokerage app now. And now there's like some meme stock that everybody in the country wants to get in on. There are billions of trades that are going around, and these clearinghouses, because of the volatility on these stocks, are asking for huge collateral to cover these trades, and people just aren't able to come up with it. So they have to close the sales on the tickers, or they just can't let people open a position. Like that all makes perfect sense to me. Like there's nothing unreasonable about that. But then people are taking that, and as many CEOs and companies have come out and said as much. Robinhood put out an official statement saying, hey, well, they didn't want to say we didn't have the liquidity, but they said we need to get more collateral to cover the trades. And then the CEO of the Webull company or whatever, he had like a 25-minute talk about how when the clearinghouse clears a trade, there's a 2-day delay period, and they've got to front all the cash for that. Otherwise, customers literally wouldn't even be able to sell their stock, that they wouldn't be able to leave their position. Like all of this makes sense. But then for some reason, like people like you, I think you know better, right, are running around saying like, well, there's a huge scam, like there's a huge scheme, there's a big conspiracy going on. It's like, no, I think everything that's happening right now is like pretty reasonable. That's why I keep asking, like, what happened that's wrong or should be illegal or should be regulated? Because it doesn't seem like anything is happening that's all that crazy.
I think that the like I said, back to the issue of this is one of those things where these other guys are like, okay, we're doing something that these guys do, yet we're getting closed out. I'll give you an example, right? Robinhood, or like I don't want to say too many names. Brokerages were starting to close out people's margin, right? They have the right to do.
Yeah,
that. They have the right to do that. They're lending you money. They have the right to do it. But what's ended up happening is after hours it happened, and they're liquidating these shares on margin to institutions because other retail traders can't buy it, and it's at rock bottom prices, and then people are sitting here like, wait a second, my security is getting sold off at a significantly lower value than it normally would be.
Yeah, but like this is my problem, and this is WallStreetBets in a nutshell for what it's become. 2 years ago, you getting your margin called is everybody's going to be laughing at you, going, "Yeah, no fucking shit, that's going to happen, dude. Look at the IV on these fucking stocks. Of course, your fucking margin."
Oh yeah, but now squeeze on GameStop. Of course, I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, but now people are like, "Oh my god, the margins are getting called. This is crazy." And now everybody's freaking out about it. It's like, well, yeah, no fucking shit, your margin's going to get called. The volatility of securities is massive.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to get, and I've been telling these guys the whole time, listen, this is a meme. Understand that this is a meme. This is the little guy trying to stamp to the big guy. This is going to go for a while, for a very short amount of time. And this is going to come crashing back down, just like Volkswagen did. And I've been telling these guys, do not get caught in this to a point where you are going to be the last one holding the bag. Let the rest of the world have fun with it. If you watch my stream and you want to have a good time with it, and you want to make money during this squeeze, whether something changes or not, whether you think something should change or not, have fun with it, but don't be stupid.
I understand that, and I have no problem with that messaging. My problem is when people are going on, and I'm pretty sure I've even listened to you of a clip of you saying, like, this is the most illegal thing I've ever seen going on in my life. Like, what's illegal? What's happening that's so bad? That's all I'm trying to figure out. I understand if it's... difficult.
I mean, like I said, okay, and I even told these guys on stream, it looks very shady and illegal. I'll give you an example. Yesterday morning, right? Stock went up huge. GameStop jumped to the moon. Okay, all of a sudden, we saw Robinhood in the middle of that just say, okay, we're limiting trading, and then the stock dropped 75%. But reports are coming out, and I just want to say that they're not, completely verified yet, obviously for whatever reasons, that a lot of firms doubled down on their positions on their shorts at that spike, and then all of a sudden we saw a 75% drop, and then it settled out, and now we're hearing that yesterday during that time frame, and like I said, unconfirmed. I don't want to until I hear a source from the SEC or something saying that those positions were closed out on that drop.
Is this even that big of a deal? If you're stating things they're so clearly wrong, but let's say for instance, let's say that there's really low liquidity, that all the buyers or sellers on the books were literally people fucking doing Robinhood, that everyone else is holding a little bit longer, right? Of course the price is gonna fucking spike, rocket up for a bit. But do you think that the market was ready to support 600 or 700 or 800? I saw somebody said that they had an order executed at $1,300 a share. Do you think that the whole market was ready to start trading that security at that price consistently back and forth? Or do you think that as market makers pulled out and positions started, they wouldn't allow people to open new positions, then maybe a few orders went through and there were prices were really, really, really fucking high because there weren't many orders on the books at the very end before they started closing trades?
I think there's a hell of a lot that we don't know. I think that everybody is speculating on both sides, right?
Well, of course, this is all speculation driven, right?
It looks extremely I hate using the word shady, because technically if something's allowed to be done or isn't regulated or a blind eye is turned or anything like that. And I got to be very, very, very careful. I know you're wanting to get me on this, but
I'm not trying to get you, just to be clear. I just want to know why people are mad.
I'll tell you why I'm being a little careful and vague, right?
Okay.
So after the stream and after all this is going on, obviously, people are watching after me, and I don't want some company or some capital firm looking at me and saying, oh, this guy is accusing XYZ of doing this and me getting hit up with anything. Okay, so that's all I want to say right there. I just want to say that because you're asking me, well, tell me something they did illegal. Well, if I sit here and say so-and-so did something illegal, whether I have a backing or not, I'm putting myself in a legal issue.
I mean, you're literally on stream talking to AOC about hunting down financial firms or whatever. You're literally on stream saying that this is the most illegal criminal thing I've ever seen. But now you're scared
I didn't say that with her. What I said, I'm not scared. What I said last night was that she asked me what is going on, why are people upset, and I said from a retail trader standpoint, a lot of retail traders hate that they don't get to have the same rules. Okay.
Do you think that retail traders should have the same rules as larger traders?
No, not exactly. Oh my God. No, I don't think that retail traders should be able to go out and borrow, sell their house on as
exactly, because retail traders don't have the capital behind them, right? So it makes sense that there'd be a different set of rules.
They're also not going to get bailed out.
Depending on, sure. Kind of.
I mean, that's the whole point, is that a lot of these firms can do this stuff with impunity. Well, not impunity, but they can do it without the issue because they're going to get bailed out, right? Like Melvin Capital, these capital companies, they're going to get bailed out by other firms, right? Just like
wait, hold on. We need to be very careful when we use the term bailout, right? Because when you say bailout, that implies some sort of government action. Another firm, I said
bailed out by another firm.
That's not getting bailed out. That's selling fucking equity to another company because you've got fucked. That's not getting bailed out.
Okay, or getting a Ford. Okay, I'm using the word bailed out. My buddy bails me out of jail. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because that implies something. Wait a minute. If I have to sell half of my fucking company because I fucked up and I'm filing bankruptcy and restructuring, I'm not getting bailed out. I'm losing a huge chunk of my company, right?
Well, okay. So when I say bailed out, my friend bailed me out of that situation. Okay. So you're right. I should use a better word here. So what I'm getting at is that what this is all about is that people don't like the idea that they're being told they can't do something because they have to be protected, right? Or that they've got to, people got to look at them and say, well, we've got to take care of what's best for you. Yet you see these banks and these firms, they do this stuff without impunity. They can go around and they can sell out subprime mortgages. They can take huge, multi-billion dollar accounts and let me look at the one in what was it, Canada. They lost everything on what was it, oil futures, right? And what's going to happen to their clients? Do their clients get anything out of it? No. But you're going to see a bank that does something like this, and the government is going to give them taxpayer money. Or you're going to see somebody get something from this person, that person, and then you've got a politician that's greasy. That's not going to do it. And I think that it's just a point where it's come to a hey, the big guy gets to do this, the little guy gets to do it. Everyone feels like they're getting screwed over a little bit, and you know what? we may lose on this, or I won't say we. People are saying, because I don't speak for every retail trader, but people are looking at it and they're saying, hey, listen, we got a chance to make some money here, and we're going to do it. And whether we actually stick it to the man, which we're probably not, and I say this on stream all the time, nothing is going to change from this. Nothing is actually going to change from this. Okay, we already know that.
I guess like my problem is like I understand what you're saying, but like my biggest problem is that at the end of the day, like there's so much misdirected anger and nobody knows what they want to change or what should be happen. And then we just run around and like everybody at the top of this, like all the content creators, everybody on Twitter, all the YouTubers are all just like screaming about like just totally random shit that isn't helping anybody. Like even what we've talked about insofar as the past like minute of what you went over, like of course a company can go bankrupt and it's going to be different than an individual going bankrupt. Technically, any individual, if they want, could start a company and start trading. Now, not everybody has the capital for it, but I mean, like, of course, there's going to be a difference between like a personally guaranteed, loan versus like a company taking out a loan. Or of course, there's going to be a difference between somebody with access to millions or tens of millions of dollars of capital versus an individual. But like, it should probably be that way, right? Like even among individuals, you're given different lines of credit based on your ability to have capital.
I don't think anybody's arguing that the average American should be given a $50 billion line of credit to be able to go out.
But that's what it comes off as when you say things like the big guys play by different rules. Like, well, yeah, of course they do. No shit, they're big guys. They have access to different amounts of money. And they can do things with different amounts of money. That of course that makes sense.
They absolutely can. I think that the argument though, once again, and I say it, I don't want to talk for everybody. And I've already told you a lot of this right here is just, I even told them I'm just riding the meme with them. Okay, having a good time. I'm gonna keep it going, have a good time, be an entertainer, an educator, talk about what how to do your credit and all that stuff like that. As far as this actual thing here, there is so much that has to come out, and there's going to be investigations. I mean, if there wasn't potential, fraud, I wouldn't say fraud or securities issues, there wouldn't be so much hype around it from the government side and from the SEC as well.
I don't think there is any hype around it from the SEC, right? Like, where's the hype from the SEC?
The SEC just put out a statement today regarding, they're gonna be doing an investigation, and that they want to make sure that there's not anybody, any actual securities fraud going on, or that there's not any bad actors, bad apples. Like I said, we're gonna find out what's going on. All right, and with me, I'm watching it. I'm seeing a lot of abnormalities. I'm looking at a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We don't know what exactly is going on, but at the end of the day, it's all about the idea, just like the not the 2008 crisis, but people are just saying, hey, listen, this is an opportunity that feels like the little guy can get ahead.
Okay.
I know I'm not giving you what you want right now.
It's not.
I didn't realize what we were doing. Like, I thought we were just coming on to bullshit and chat. And I didn't realize this was going to be like you trying to put me in a corner and be like, haha, I'm going to get you because you can't actually tell me what they're doing illegal. And you're called the stock guy. I'm not doing that, Destiny. I didn't realize.
Wait, to be clear, hold on. Don't try to make me have to be a bad guy here, okay? My problem is that
you're the one literally sitting here saying, oh, you're the one that's sitting here saying, oh, this is illegal. And you're the stock guy.
Because you said it. You said it on your stream. I'm sorry that you're upset that I'm asking.
One of the most illegal looking things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I'm just asking you to explain that. You're getting upset because I'm just asking you to explain what you've talked about on stream.
I'm not upset about that. I know you're trying to what you're trying to do a little bit here, and it's cool. I mean, I know enough about you that I thought that this might happen, and it's cool though.
What I'm trying to do is I just want people to have like a reasonable understanding of everything that's going on without running into the meme frenzy of a whole bunch of like little guys have banded together to fuck over like a big hedge fund and they're winning, and now all of a sudden the evil brokerages have
wait. I've literally said a million times, you're not going to win this. Nothing is going to change.
And the idea that the evil brokerages are all conspiring against the little guy, and that's why the trades have stopped and everybody's against us, and we need to bring in these legislators to pass.
You're going to tell me that brokerages and these things don't conspire against the little guy? You're telling me they don't pay millions of dollars to get the information ahead of retail trailers and other people shadily behind backdoor deals in order to front run retailers?
It's not backdoor. Okay, this is like part
You're
of how
right.
Robinhood.
Everybody can see what they're doing.
That's literally how Robinhood. The fact that you and I are talking about this, and neither of maybe you do. I don't have any special information, but I know how Robinhood works. I know that there are people that pay for lists of those orders on the books, or whatever. That's how they work, of course. Like anytime you get on a service where you could do something, there's like no fees or no commission attached. Like no fucking shit, somebody's making money somewhere. There's some service being sold to somebody else. Of course, that's not hidden. That's not secret.
No one said it's secret. What the idea is that it's done, they pay for it. Now, retail traders aren't going to pay for it, and they could if they wanted to. But what I was getting at is that this was just more about the idea of, hey, listen, the little guy gets a chance, right? The little guy gets a chance to take down the big guy. And that's what this whole thing was about. And it didn't start that way, but that's what it turned into, right? It's, hey, listen, this is a chance. You can make money potentially causing a large billion-dollar company, right? Who does stuff all the time that, I can't sit here and obviously for legal reasons say, well, they do this, 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 and this. But, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, listen, the little guy is getting a chance to make some money and take down the big guy. And everybody seems to be on board with it. And I think that's cool. I think it's almost like a moment in time. A moment in time where the little guy gets to feel good in a time when the world is really dark. And I'm really cool about being on board with that. I think it's really, really cool to be on board with that. I've already told them, I've made it very clear. You don't make it out to seem like I'm sitting here promising guys that we're going to take out the big guy and that they're going to make a bunch of money. I've literally told them if they hold anything over this weekend, the chances of them losing everything tomorrow morning are very high. Okay. And if they want to hold for the principle of the thing, then go for it. But if they want to walk away, then do it as well. You're up. We got one guy in our community who took his entire IRA, right? Took his entire IRA, not tomorrow, Monday. Took his entire IRA and put it into GameStop. It's the dumbest thing I've seen somebody do. And he did that. And he's up, 350%. I can't believe that the guy is still holding. And he is. And I think it's crazy. I think it's absolutely insane. And I've told him a million times, you are insane for not at least taking some of that away. But there's something else going on that's bigger than me. I don't have the voice. He's not going to listen to me. These guys aren't going to listen to me. So I might as well entertain them and keep it going and talk about it and have fun with it and be part of this moment in time where the little guy gets to take on the big guy. Whether you personally think that, well, this is just stupid that you guys are doing this because nothing's going to change. They're not doing anything illegal. And you guys are just hyping this up for no reason. Hey, listen, you're entitled to that. But I'm going to let these guys have this moment and just kind of be with them on it. I know that nothing's going to change. I say it all the time. Okay. And I just want to be part of that. Like I said, I'm with you. I know that how this works at the top level, whether it is legal or illegal or corrupt or uncorrupt, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is just a time. I just think it's an amazing thing to be a part of. Some people be a part of one movement or another movement or a moment in time, and I'm part of it. And if I'm the guy out there that can explain other things to them and use this time, which I've been doing, to literally take what I can to teach people other stuff about investing and the importance of investing or the importance of personal finance, something like that, I'm going to take that time. I know you absolutely disagree with what I'm doing. I can see that. And I'm trying to mend whatever bridge that I don't know if you're trying to burn it or you're trying to get
I was just asking questions. I'm curious if I was missing anything or whatever. I don't hate you or anything. I think what you're misunderstanding is you think that I'm playing into this idea of using misinformation to continue a cause. Yeah, that probably 95% of retail traders are going to lose out on this game.
And I have made that so clear. I am not, listen, I don't know if you've ever seen my shit. I don't sell a course. I don't promise people, the world. I'm not a stock guru. I'm not a stock guru. I tell people clearly, I'm an idiot for doing this. And I tell them clearly, 95% of stock traders are going to lose to the market. You're better off putting your money in the market. I am the most honest guy out there. I literally do this to help people. Okay. And I'm seeing a chance to not only entertain people and explain the world to them, but do you know how important and how little people know about finance and the economics and they're stuck in a debt cycle because they're never taught that their 401. I'll give you an example. Do you know how many people out there have a 401k right now and don't realize that their management fees at 2.5% are going to drain 50% of their retirement? But some idiot stumbles into my stream because GameStop hype is going on and they learn that. And now they get to retire rather than working as a 75-year-old Walmart greeter because they actually get to retire. If I can use this moment to help people and to teach this stuff, I will. Am I guilty of maybe overhyping it for the entertainment value? Sure. I'm an entertainer. I'm a streamer. It says on my page I'm an entertainer. Okay? I don't give financial advice. I'm using this to entertain people, to have a good time, and to hopefully actually help people from this.
Okay.
I know. I get it. I get it. This isn't what you want right now.
No, it's not about what I want. It's not about trying.
Bullshit me, Destiny. Come on. We all know what this was about. I'm dumb enough to have walked into the trap.
Okay, hold on. First, okay, stop accusing me of trying to trap you. I'm literally just asking questions. My primary goal for this was that I was
getting it with a straight face.
What? My
can't even
primary
trade that with a
okay, first of all, you're sitting here talking about how you don't sell anything, blah blah blah, and you literally sell like an early morning fucking Discord call. Okay, every 30 minutes you talk about marketplace and everything every day before stream. So don't try to pretend that you're like.
Hey, have you ever been in there?
No, but you literally have the
Then
description.
what the fuck are you saying? What I do in a call that you've never been in?
Okay,
I don't sell market information. What I do is I used to have an open morning call where I just talked about and told people, hey guys, here's the economic numbers. This is what the PMI numbers are. You know, this is the news about this. This is what we're hearing here. And you know what happened? I had 1,000 people in there.
Wait, what do you think people are listening to that for?
You know what? You know why they do it? Because instead of them having to spend 2 hours doing all that, just like you paying for Netflix because you want, some content there, people come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to pay 75 cents a day for this guy to give me the news, the headlines, and events around the market.
Financial advice.
The advice? What advice do I give? Give me one piece. You just literally accused me of a fucking crime, Destiny. Now you want to play games with me? Go ahead. What piece of financial advice do I sell?
You literally just said that you're covering like the description literally says market plays for the day.
Yeah, market stuff for the day.
How is this not financial advice?
So when I tell you, hey, guess what? Apple said that, or I'll give you an example of today. General Motors has said, General Motors has said that they're going to go 100% electric vehicle in 2035. Okay, so I bring that to these guys. I basically just give them a bunch of headlines, a bunch of information. I say, hey, guys, listen, this is what I'm looking at. This is what this sector has been doing recently. Here's what these charts are saying. Make your decision. At least now you have somewhere to start. I don't tell anybody, guys, you should buy this stock. You should buy it here. You should sell it here.
I understand that. Do you think people ever trade?
What advice do I tell them?
Do you think that people ever trade based on the news you choose to share with them?
I think people use it as a stepping stone or as a platform for them to go and actually look for other stuff. Because here's the thing. Most traders or new traders will say, you know what? I could get up at 5:30 a.m. and scour the internet. I could look for all of these different headlines. I could go to this website, that website, this website. Or you know what? Some guy's gonna give me some of the big headlines and tell me what that, and I'll use that to kind of look for, hey, maybe that's something I want to deep dive into because you know what? Maybe I am interested in the electric vehicle. Wow, I didn't know that about GM. Let me go research that.
Sure. And to be clear, I'm not saying you're doing anything illegal. I'm just saying that don't sit here and talk to me for 30 minutes about how you help people learn their 401k stuff, blah, blah, blah. When you're selling a product, now you might call it just news or entertainment or whatever, but you're selling like a financial product in a way to people that are listening, probably trading off of it. Just don't sit here and preach to me for an hour about how you're helping people learn about fees or their 401k.
Wait. Have you ever seen, first of all, that doesn't happen on my stream, and I'm literally sitting here talking about my stream. That my stream,
you
people
advertise it directly underneath your stream, and this is probably the major conduit that you use to sell this subscription.
If you would like to get some information pre-market, and you want to do that, hey, listen, you can pay for the Washington Post subscription, and you can get information there.
Sure.
Okay. Are you going to look at Washington Post and say, oh my God, you're telling people what to play because you're putting stock information out there?
My problem isn't that you talk about news or whatever. That's fine. I don't care about that. That's okay. That's probably
you literally accused me of selling signals.
No, okay. Of talking about finance. I'm not focused on what you're doing. I'm just saying that the idea that you're telling me that like your goal of your stream is to just help people with their 401ks when you're selling like a product that you can call it entertainment if you want. Okay. Also, it's not exactly fair of you to come down hard on me for the exact terminology of this when earlier you're throwing around terms like naked shorts and being like, oh, or bailout when you're like, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
You as something that's actually
and you are literally on stream saying this is the most criminal thing I've ever seen in my life, and now you're backing up saying like, oh, well, hold on, I misspoke. Okay. I'm sorry if I didn't mean to accuse you of doing something illegal. I don't know. Maybe there's a distinction between giving financial advice versus reading the financial headlines. If there's a distinction there, I recognize it. Okay, I'm not accusing you of doing anything illegal. I'm just saying that you do sell like some form of like service. You seem to be
upset that I have something that people want to. Can I do it open to everybody on Fridays too? Because it just gets like, for example, today I just crashed. There was too many people. So what do? I have to make it private to an extent. It's not like I'm charging $1,000. It's 75 cents a day, and the only reason I do that is because it actually separates people that want to be in there and learn that stuff, right? And it's like people paying for a newspaper subscription, right? But here's the thing: I spend 8 hours on my stream. 8 hours on my stream, and what do? I talk about 401ks. I talk about IRAs. I talk about buying used cars versus new cars. Do you know how many people in my community, because of the stream, not some paywall that you're trying to accuse me of, how many people in my stream refinanced their house that had no idea when interest rates went rock bottom that they could refinance their house and save $150,000 on their mortgage, and you're going to say, "Oh, you don't do that, sir."
I never said you didn't do that. I'm sure you do.
You just said, "Oh, don't come in here and tell me what you do when you have a paid subscription service."
What I'm saying is don't act like it's some charitable fucking contribution to humanity. Is what you made it sound like. You're like, I'm just saying you do. There is like
charitable contribution to humanity. My stream is not sub only. I don't put this information about your life-changing financial advice, not advice, but financial education behind a fucking paywall. I stream on Twitch.
Are your calls Monday to Thursday behind a paywall? Yes. Do you sell that? Do you sell that on your stream? Wait.
You just said 401k and stuff like that. You're asking me if me spending all this time at night in the morning and getting a bunch of headlines and stuff like that to share with people, is that behind a paywall because I have to, because it helps me bring other people in, and not only that, it also gives people information without shutting down.
To be clear, there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't know why you're accusing me of being bad. That's fine.
You're trying right now to say, don't act like you're a charitable person when you do something off stream that isn't for free.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I sell some.
So you're going to discredit all the 8 hours of stuff that I give people and help people because I want to.
No,
and I love doing what I'm passionate about because I have an off-stream
That's awesome
thing.
if you do that. I'm not explicitly saying any of that's bad. I'm not the one screaming about people doing criminal activity like you're on your stream. If you do,
you're really
that's
going
great.
to sit here and use me talking about something about a $1 billion hedge fund and try to use that as a well, what about in me helping out the everyday people with knowledge I have that they may not know because I somehow am able to turn it into an entertaining format for them.
I don't know why you think I'm upset about this. This is great. If you do this is great. This is fine. There's literally nothing wrong with any of this. I don't know why you think
do this. So you've never watched my stream.
I don't watch any streams.
Then you're sitting here making these accusations about what I do or don't do and what my real intentions are based on what?
I'm not talking about your intentions. I asked you if you sell a service.
You just literally tried to say to me, hey, you're going to sit here and act like you do this stuff for charity when you have something with a paywall Monday through Friday before the market opens? Bro, you can't sit here and say that and then backtrack and try, well, that's not what I was saying. You literally just said that. You're literally trying to minimize everything I've done. And I don't sit here and I don't want to sit here and talk myself up, but you're going to sit here and minimize what I am trying to do. Okay. Because it's giving you a good clip or because it makes you win an argument. I mean, that's just so shitty. That's like saying, hey man, you do this. So anything good you do. Why so mad? I'm not mad. I am mad. I'm actually a little bit upset. And I'm going to tell you why I'm upset, because you are sitting here and instead of saying, hey man, I think it's awesome that you do that. Or, hey man, is there anything I could do to help you out with that?
I just said that's awesome that you do that. That's great if you're telling people to refinance when interest rates are super low or helping people with their 401k. That's good. That's great.
Dude, what? This is, God, I should have known that this was a fucking trap.
It wasn't a trap. You're on stream.
You're like, you know what? This guy is having some success right now, so I need to come in and I need to try and do what Destiny does. I've got to make some drama out of this.
Okay, let's be very clear. Okay, wait. Let's be very clear real quick, okay? Number one, I explicitly told my stream, I actually knew this line was coming. And you can go back in my VOD, and I explicitly said, I don't really want to talk to him right now because I'm pretty sure that if I do, he's going to view it as clout chasing. And then people in chat pointed out, well, hold on, the stock guy was literally screeching on Twitter trying to get AOC and everyone else's attention so that he could get attention, so he's probably not going to accuse you of that. I was like, okay, maybe not. So that's the reason why we're talking. You literally just did. You literally just did that. To be clear, okay? Don't say you did, because you literally just did. Okay. And number two,
you were trying to get clout, but yeah, okay, fine. If you want to call it that.
Number two, okay, so get that out of the way firstly, okay? And then number two, all I wanted to know was if you thought that anything like wrong or illegal had happened because you're using a lot of strong language on your stream. And your retreat from that is basically to just say it's all entertainment and memes. Now, if that's your defense...
I didn't say it's all entertainment, Nays. I said I think there is a lot of issues going on. I think that until this comes out, there's going to be, it's all accusations at this point. Yeah, I have said, and I still stick behind that, I think that what is going on is, in my opinion, okay, there's a lot of problems here. I think that what happened shouldn't be allowed to happen. And instead of having that, you're like, you know what? Let me get this guy. Let me try
that's
and
what
get
I'm.
him
Okay, hold on. You
I
just
want him
did
to
it.
tell me what is illegal. Tell me what is illegal. I want you to do this, otherwise you're like those guys on there.
So you just did it again. You just said that there are things happening that you don't want to happen. But I'm just curious what that is. It was a very calm question, but you don't have an answer for me. That's it.
See, now we're trying to go back to this. I think exactly what you do. Now, you know what? Here we go. I know what you're trying to do now, Destiny. You know what? here's the thing. I should have known that this was going to happen. I thought we were going to have a cool conversation about the stock market and all the craziness that's coming on. And then now
I'm sorry that I didn't know. If you, okay, well,
I knew better. And now
you
it's
just
going
want,
into,
and
now
you
you're
just
trying to
wanted
attack
me
my
to play.
character.
I'm not attacking your character. You are so defensive right now. I'm not backpedaling on anything. All I wanted.
So back to, well, I didn't just accuse you of saying, oh, you're doing good stuff on stream. Oh, that's great. Oh, wait a second. You don't have a paywall thing between one of them. You're not selling a service, bro. You're trying to equate something off stream to what I do on stream 8 hours a day.
Listen,
and you know what? You know what, Destiny? Here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to let you or anybody else try to minimize or try to discourage me from what I've been doing. Okay, this is you can have your clips. You can have your moment of haha got him or whatever. You know what, dude? You know what? There, you got it. You want it? What do you want me to say? You won this debate. Is that make you feel better?
I was just curious what you thought happened.
No, I want to make sure since we're on your platform and the world is watching. Is this what you want? I'm asking because I literally just had you just try to minimize everything.
My disappointment is that I would hope that at the top of this, people are getting popular, disseminating good information, and not being grossly irresponsible and hyping everybody up on a bunch of stuff that I would have expected you to know wasn't true. You're throwing around words like naked short selling, like front running, like illegal trade, like all this shit. You're throwing all this stuff around, and you can't support a single thing about it. And I just brought you on to ask you about it.
Front running is literally what these people pay for.
No, it's not.
No.
Robinhood does not front run.
No, Robinhood doesn't. The people who buy the information do.
Buying the information is not front running.
No, using that information to front run clients.
But that's not what they're doing. When you execute an order on Robinhood, they have to execute that order at market price or better. They're not front running the order. You're not having other firms buying it in front of you and then reselling it to you at a higher price.
Let me link you something before you start going off. Let me show you this.
I was curious if I was missing anything because you're the stock guy and maybe there was something that I missed. So I just wanted to ask you if you thought there was illegal stuff going on that I was missing. And I thought that we could just have a conversation about it. But
I'm gonna send you something offline when we get off about what I was talking about, what they didn't admit to, but they paid out on. I'm gonna send that to you. I'm gonna send that to you so that you could actually use that and look at exactly what I was talking about.
Are you talking about the in 2015 when they got fined like $22 million or whatever?
No, I'm you know what? I'm not gonna get into legal shit here. Now you're not gonna do this, okay? Listen,
okay.
If you're gonna sit here and accuse me of saying that I'm full of shit because I say that I'm accusing people of front running.
Do you agree that you walked back from
I'm
every
not talking about this anymore. No, Destiny, I know what you're trying to do. You're gonna talk over me no matter what. Whether you're right or wrong about something, you're gonna talk over me and you're gonna try and throw different things around to try and I'm gonna get him. Okay, I already told you. This is a meme. This is not going to end well. The little guy is not going to win. Okay, sure. There might be a moment where retail traders are able to push this stock up, whether it's because they either do it and get the momentum and other firms come in, or they have to cause a short squeeze. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I've told these guys that this is a meme. I don't know how long it's going to last, but GameStop is not going to be $1,000. And even if it somehow got there because of them not restricting the security being traded. Let's say it somehow got there. It's not going to last there forever. Look at Volkswagen and see exactly what happened before. Okay, and it's going to happen again. But all I'm going to say is, Destiny, is that, I should have known that this was going to be, you know what? Your name is the stock guy. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. Wait until you don't give me a full answer or don't answer it in a way that I think is possible. I'm going to jump on that, try to discredit you, and then...
To be ultra clear, I was asking you... I'm just asking you, like, very basic question. I'm just curious if you thought anything was wrong. I'm not asking you about the particulars of anything.
To say, when you open a conversation with, hey, your name is the stock guy. You're over here saying that what's happening is not right and is potentially illegal. And I want you to come onto my show and I want you to justify why you're saying that, and I want you to answer for everything you're saying.
Holy shit, you think that's a bad thing that I'm just asking you to explain stuff you've already said publicly on your own stream?
Because here's the thing. You're trying to do that in order to find something that you could jump on, okay, to then make content out of, Okay?
It's not about content.
And somehow try to discredit everything because
I was literally,
I'm not giving you the answers you want.
I am not doing content out of this, okay? I've been playing Dark Souls and doing LSD over the past fucking week, okay? I am not making, you're the one that's jumping on this and making content. Don't accuse me of doing, don't project that onto me, okay? Number one. Number two, I'm just asking you, okay. I mean, that's literally what you're doing. You're on Twitter asking people to come on and chat about it. That's how you got AOC on. You're on your stream covering it every fucking day. You've got all the big tickers I've been doing. So don't accuse me of doing what you're doing. Not that what you're doing is wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong about trying to make content out of it. My issue is that you'd made a lot of strong statements on stream, and I was just curious if you could back me that, because either I'm wrong about things, because my understanding is a lot of what you said is not true, or you're wrong about things, and maybe you know things that I don't know. So if you come on and I ask you questions, maybe like, oh, well, did you know this? Did you know about this? And then it's like, oh shit, I didn't know about a lot of this. So maybe I was wrong on anything. I didn't know that you wouldn't be able to answer a single fucking question or justify a single fucking thing you talked about on stream. I couldn't foresee that. I wouldn't think that you would have the audacity to go on in front of hundreds of thousands of people and just fucking talk shit and have no fucking idea what you're fucking talking about. I didn't know that would happen. So that's my mistake. I'm very sorry for that. I'm sorry if I've upset you or frustrated you, because now you realize that you've been propagating the same stupid fucking memes that have been posted on WallStreetBets with knowing about as much as the average Reddit poster. Like, my bad on that, okay?
I love how you wanted your mic drop moment there.
You've been mic dropping the whole fuking conversation.
I haven't been mic dropping. You know what? I was totally cool with it until you went down that road of, hey man, I know you like to you're saying that you're trying to help people with other stuff,
but you're also selling a product
and enjoying the idea of helping people. And not, like I said, yeah, I already told you, I've said this on stream. I said, listen, a lot of this is a meme. A lot of this is craziness, and a lot of people find that there's a movement, and there's a lot that it's a moment where the little guy gets the David versus Goliath moment. Whether it actually plays out.
Okay, here's the question. I have just one question.
Whether the reasoning behind it is legal, illegal, justified, unjustified. The moment is happening.
Okay, I'm just curious. You said specifically that you weren't selling anything, but you do sell something. That's all I was asking about. If you like helping people so much,
I said I'm not one of these stock gurus or gurus out there selling a newsletter, telling people what to buy, what to sell, and promising them something. I tell people all the time, listen, they say, oh, should I join your morning call? You know how many times you know what I say to them? I say, hey, you know what? On Friday, it's open to everybody. Come in and check it out for free first and open to everybody. And if it's something you think that would help, okay, you do it. If you don't do it. Okay. I'm not putting it behind a thing.
If you like helping people so much, why not make all of them free?
I used to have it all free until it just got overwhelmed.
What do you mean overwhelmed? Why don't you just do it on stream?
There was 1,000, 2,000 people in there. It got absolutely insane. And then people were like, you know what? This is getting insane. This is getting crazy. Hey, you know what? We should make it to where it's not open to every single person all the time. And if people are serious about it and they want to do it, you know what, Stocky, you're spending 2 to 4 hours a day and night getting this stuff together and stuff like that, and you're just giving it out there. You know what? It's important stuff. If people want it, they'll give 75 cents a day to listen to the headlines that you gather and the information about stocks that comes out that's publicly out there. It's not like I have some secret thing out there. And you know what? We'll put it together. And if you want to do it, come in and do it. If not, don't do it.
I don't know why it's so wrong to just say that you sell a product
on my stream.
There's nothing wrong with saying you sell a product on stream. You sell a product. There's nothing wrong with that.
I tell people all the time that I have a morning call.
Then why are you so upset about me pointing that out? I don't understand why this infuriated you.
Because you decided to point that out and double down on it when I came out and said, I do an 8-hour stream where I do my best to help people out with helping them with their 401ks, with understanding economic stuff, understanding, what it is to lease a car, how to get your APR down, how to consolidate loans, how to get your 401k in order, how to not get screwed over by a lot of things. And you said, you're doing this because you the goodness of your heart.
But
Didn't you say you have a paid service?
When you're literally
in that moment, you literally invalidated everything I said.
That's not exactly first of all, I am a big capitalist. I have no problem selling services or selling information or whatever. But you literally were on here being like, well, it's not like I sell a course or anything like any of these guys. And it's like, well, hold on. What?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I have a 6-week-old.
Yeah, no problem. Well, listen. Do you want to shout out your channel or anything, or
no? God, I'm not doing that. Listen. I'm not. I don't think you're a shit person.
Thanks.
It's just that I really didn't know where this was gonna go, and then I came on here just to kind of bullshit, and then all of a sudden I got put on the spotlight like that, and I was like, I think it's very fair to say that is a lot of this overhyped. Yes. Is there a lot of memes? Yes. And everyone is going somewhere to follow it, right? And if they come to me, I am going to be the entertainer and talk and use this platform to help other stuff while also covering the aspect. Do I sensationalize some stuff? I'm probably guilty of that. Okay, you get caught up, you're streaming, you got a lot of people. Sometimes you sensationalize stuff, and you know what? That may be there, but to say that, to use that to say, hey, you don't know a goddamn thing about stocks because you're not answering anything the way I feel like it should be answered. And you are also, and then also, hey, don't sit here and tell me that you're trying to give back to the world when you have a paid service. Or, sorry, you didn't say it exactly like that. When I said that, you come back and
to be
use
clear,
that
because you
as
keep misrepresenting it. The only reason why I pointed that out was just because you seemed very adamant about how like you don't sell a service or you don't sell a course. That's the only reason I pointed that out. I don't care that you do it.
No. See, now you're trying to mix up words. Let's go back in time and let me say what I said. I said I am not doing this. I'm not streaming to be one of those stock gurus. I don't tell anyone what to buy. I'm honest with people. You know what the stock gurus and gurus do? They say, hey guys, I live on a boat. Look at me. I'm on a boat with a laptop and beautiful women out in the Bahamas. And you know what? I got this by day trading and making millions of dollars, and you can too, because you know what? You can buy my course. I don't sell a course. I don't promise anybody anything. I don't tell anybody what to buy. And you know what I don't do? I don't blow smoke up people's ass. I'm the only guy out there who says, you know something, guys, you are probably going to fail at this. And even if you do somehow be one of the 5% of people who beat the market, it probably won't even be worth it because the sweat equity is going to destroy you. Put your money in a ETF or, get your 401k match, do that and grow your net worth. But if you do want to do trading because you think that it is something that is fun, or you could, you want to do it on the side and you don't know where to go and you don't want to spend all this time looking at some headlines, you know what? I do it all night anyways. I do it in the morning. I'll give you that, I'll give you what I came across and say, hey, listen, this is some of the headlines. And if you think 75 cents a day to get some of that information without you having to go through all those websites is worth it, come do it. If not, don't worry. We're going to be talking about the market and stocks online on my stream for free. And then after that, we're also going to be talking about financial stuff and helping people out. That's what I do. I literally started streaming without the intention of being a full-time streamer. That wasn't what I wanted to do. And you know why that other stock streamers out there, not now, but in the beginning, do you know why they capped at 10 viewers?
Wow.
Because they were trying to pull that shit. Do you think I would have had this amazing community I have that I care about so much if they for 1 second thought I wasn't genuine?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
That's not a slight against you. I don't know. Because I don't watch streams on Twitch. I don't have the time for it. I'm not trying to say like, oh, you're full of shit.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
If somebody who talked about stocks and finance and helping people out with this stuff, who does it live every day, no editing and like that, if people didn't think that I had the best intentions, do you think people would still watch me?
I imagine it's probably pretty important that you come off as genuine. Not to say that you are. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably pretty important. Yes.
So, but you want to keep going back to the fact that off stream, I have a tiny subscription service that basically is just people getting headlines and helping them save time. 75 cents. Let me you know what the greatest.
You're the one that keeps going back to that. I don't know why you're obsessing over that point so much.
Because you literally, as I was saying that, kept going back to that.
But I only brought that up because you were trying to say like I don't sell a course or anything. That's all I'm saying.
I don't sell a course. Courses are they tell people, hey, you're going to do well because my course is going to make you do well.
Okay, but your name. Okay. I love you. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No. Listen. All right. Here, let me just put it this way. Now that this is all over with. Okay. Hey, listen. I don't hate you. Okay.
Okay. All right. I love you. Have fun. Be careful. Okay.
No. Okay.
That sounded really intimidating. I just always say that at the end. I don't mean like be careful, like I'm going to kill you or anything.
No, I know, but listen. Like I said, I should have known that this was probably going to happen. And I know you're going to say, oh, well, no, I really wanted to have a genuine conversation about this. And this is my fault for thinking that was actually going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. Have fun. Be careful. Stay safe.
Listen, at the end of the day, good luck. Okay.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just wanted to ask a few questions about if he thought anything wrong or illegal had happened. I don't know why it must be a problem with me. I feel like everybody that I talk to gets so fucking mad and defensive. They're like so insecure. Like, I'm just curious if you thought anything illegal or anything that needs to be regulated happened, because like you're on stream saying like some pretty intense shit. So I'm just curious if like and to be fair, I don't watch all of his streams, but like when I've seen like
what happened today was one of the most criminal things I've ever seen in my life that was out in the open. Okay, I've seen banks and institutions, the government do criminal stuff all the time. I've never seen the entire American people blatantly robbed.
I feel like every time I talk to somebody, they represent themselves like so much more meek and humble. And then when I'm just like trying to ask them, like, well, hey, you said this on your stream. What do you mean by that? Or like, when you mentioned this or that, like, what do you mean by that? And then they get so fucking mad. What's the context for that clip? Oh, maybe he's saying
What
someone else
to-
said this? I guess. How do I view the video?
It probably won't at this point. There is a chance, but if the brokerages continue to delist,
Hold on.
for one, I don't know if they're even going to allow this to be traded. Two, it's sitting at $7 or $8, and they saw it 20. They're going to calculate, well, that's an easy 100% if it gets back. Number one, I don't know if they're even going to allow this to be traded. Two, I don't know if those guys are going to open up their brokerage and sell all their shit. Probably won't at this point. There is a chance, but if the brokerages continue to delist this, what happened today was one of the most criminal things I've ever seen in my life that was out in the open, okay? I've seen banks and institutions, the government do criminal stuff all the time. I've never seen the entire American people blatantly robbed. And what do I mean by robbed? Same thing as what I tweeted the other day, okay? Same thing from what I tweeted the other day, okay, or last night. I watched hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of people buy something that was in an open market, make a bunch of money, it go up, and they were about to make a profit. And the institutions, well, I can't even say institutions, they washed their hands. The brokerages decided, we're pulling the cord. There's nothing you can do about it.
Like, this take is so, how could you say this? And then when I bring on ask you, like, well, hey, what do you think should change or be regulated or made illegal, or how, or what was committed that was wrong? And I think you guys can go back and listen. He literally said on my stream, well, I don't know if anything wrong happened, or I don't know if anything should be made illegal, or I don't know if anything should be regulated differently, or I don't know if anybody, like, how do you go from this to that take on my stream? Like, he literally said nothing wrong happened, but fuck, dude. I don't know, man. Whatever, dude. If you're here and you want to see all the GME shit, here's the reality of everything that's happening, guys. Real quick, I'm sorry, okay? If you're a retail trader, high likelihood that you're getting fucked. If you're holding over the weekend, high likelihood that you're getting fucked. If you think that you're attacking the big guy, you are attacking one of the big guys, and all the other big guys are behind you making money off the fight, and they're laughing all the way to the fucking bank. The people making the money out of this squeeze are not fucking retail dipshits putting their fucking paycheck advance into their fucking Robinhood account. It's gonna be the other massive asset managers like BlackRock or all the other massive hedge funds that are also have longer positions on this. Those are the people that are all making the money off this. It's not going to be the little itty bitty retailers. So you guys can laugh and pretend that you're doing something horrible to some big person, but the reality is that the only other people making all the money on this are other big players. Number one. Number two, all the meme shit you're hearing about illegal stuff happening is probably just being told to you by people that don't know what they're saying. The brokerages that made it so that you couldn't buy any of those tickers, nothing illegal or shady was happening there. Citadel is not secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes to fuck over the little guys. That there is no naked shorting. You can be over 140% on a fucking stock, shorting it without there being any naked shorts going on. All of that is memes. There's no evidence or proof of any of that shit. It's all just a bunch of people leading you guys around, getting you riled up so that they can get subs and ad revenue or sell their 75 cent a day fucking econ news to you or whatever, newsletters. Like, that's all that's happening. I'm sorry. I hate to be the counter jerker. I know that's all I'm doing, is I'm just counter jerking to counter jerk because I have no original opinions or whatever, but in 2 weeks when GME is totally crashed and all the people on WallStreetBets that were saying, oh, we were just here for the memes, that are like, oh, but I lost all my good luck, I guess. I'm going to explain this very quickly. I don't want to do this because I don't do stocks and I don't do this shit. And everybody is a fucking expert on it now because they all like were on Reddit for 2 days. Fucking, and you know what? I'm even clean that group. When you go to buy something from a brokerage, okay? When you deposit money onto a brokerage and you go to buy something, when the trade is executed, there's a clearinghouse that's responsible for fronting the capital on that trade. It takes 2 days to actually settle the money from your account to where the trade goes through. So in that 2-day period, there is another entity that needs to have all of the capital necessary in order to execute those trades. Now, the problem is in order to execute those trades, they usually ask for some collateral, for a percentage of all of the activity from a brokerage. And now some brokerages are their own clearinghouses as well, right? They ask for a percentage of the capital to ensure the trade. So let's say, for instance, let's say that I want to buy a stock. Okay, what I do is I go to a company and I say, oh, here's my $10 per stock. That company goes to another guy, or sometimes it's another department, and they'll say like, hey, this guy wants to buy the stock. I'll give you the $10, but it's going to take a couple days. Can you spend your $10 and then I'll give you like $1 as collateral just to make sure we're not fucking around with you and do that? The problem is that as stocks become more volatile, the amount of collateral that the clearinghouse wants increases, and as more and more and more people are jumping in on these risky tickers, as more people are trying to buy these things, the clearinghouse is saying, hey, we need way more collateral for these trades. The implied volatility is way too fucking high. And then what happens is the brokerages say, hold on, there's way too much risk here. We cannot allow people to open new positions on this because we can't collateralize all of the trades. Now, if you want to close a position, if you want to sell, that's fine. There's no regulation that says that we have to collateralize a sale. It doesn't even make sense. Like, if you want to sell, that's fine, but we can't open new positions to buy on a lot of these highly volatile, massive fucking volume securities. That's what happened. The idea that it was like fucking Citadel in some dark fucking room, some smoky fucking cigar filled room trying to fuck over retailers or blah, 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 is there's no evidence for any of that whatsoever. That's why you're seeing all of these brokerages and all these clearinghouses are tapping like fucking billions of dollars of credit from other financial institutions because they want to open these trades back up, but they need to get the money so that they can collateralize the trades. The thing is, we couldn't sell. You could sell. It probably was just going to be at a slightly lower price because you didn't have retailers that might have been like on the upper end of the books there, but well, my understanding is that you can sell. I don't think anybody doesn't have the ability to sell. Destiny, don't people use their own money on Robinhood? Even if you use your own money, it still takes 2 days to settle the trade. Stock Guy on Discord. Do you think any of it should be illegal? I don't think anything happened that's wrong or illegal. That's what I think. That's why I asked him if he had a different opinion, because everybody seems to be thinking there's all those wrong and so I just asked people, I was like, hey, what do you think happened that was like wrong or illegal? And no one has produced a single fucking answer. Some people will vaguely allude to naked short selling because they think that just because over 100% of a security is shorted, that means it must have been naked shorted. That's not true. You can lend a security to another lender and then they can lend it to somebody else. You can go to over 100% shorting on a security without any naked short selling going on. Everybody has the collateral necessary. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Putting people on the spot is such a shitty thing to do. Destiny is like a line of cocaine and thinks he's smart. Well, that's all good. Just another person that hates me anyway, or another community rather, whatever. No, most couldn't sell, and some people on Robinhood got their share sold when they didn't sell. My understanding right now, and I'm just gonna call you a fucking liar because I don't think that what you're saying is true. There's two things. One, I'm pretty sure that anybody that wanted to sell could sell. Now, maybe that's not the case. I haven't seen any evidence otherwise. Two, some people were probably forced sold because what they're doing is they're trading on margin, meaning they're borrowing money to trade. If you're trading on margin and the volatility of the stock is high enough, your margin can get called, meaning your position is closed and they cash you out. Any brokerage will do that, Robinhood included. That's not magical. That's not crazy. The only difference is that 2 years ago, when WallStreetBets, like the posters there were actually like smart investors that were laughing at dumb shit, they would make fun of you when your margin gets called, and they would all laugh at how stupid as fuck you were, thinking your margin would never get closed on such a volatile trade. But now that WallStreetBets is filled with normie dipshits, I think they're all master fucking investors, people are getting super fucking ass mad about shit that's incredibly fucking obvious. That if you're trading on margin on highly fucking volatile stocks, of course your margin is going to get called at some point if the price of the security moves too much in one direction. Fuck off, RTBA. Do you think you could do a better job of priming conversations like this so they don't feel like you're looking for a gotcha? The problem is that, like, I feel like I was asking, the problem is that, like, he was, you know what? Okay, hold on. 2021 Destiny, okay? The problem is that he was trying to use my platform to advertise his shit, and he wasn't giving me an honest answer at anything at all. That was my problem, okay? So, like, if I'm asking you some basic questions and you start talking around in circles and it's pretty clear that you don't know exactly what it is you're talking about, but on your own stream, you're making incredibly strong statements and you're talking to, like, Congress people about it, like, yeah, I'm gonna hold you a little bit accountable. I don't think I was really mean at all to him. I don't think that I was, like, super brutal. I don't think that I was being unfair. I was just asking some pretty basic questions, and he was weaseling the fuck fuck out of almost every single thing he said. He used the term naked sell, and then he walked it back because he realized he didn't know what the fuck that was, or he didn't know if it was actually happening. He tried to use the term bailout, and then he walked that back when he realized, like, okay, well, maybe bailout isn't exactly what's going on. He tried to use the term front running, and then he was like, okay, well, maybe they're not exactly front running. Well, let me link you something that happened back in 2013, like, or 2015 or whatever. Like, this is my problem. But the problem is that, like, he'll walk it back when I'm on stream with him, but then when he goes on his stream later, he's going to be fucking leading the charge about, like, all these evil institutions, they're all fucking us, blah, 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 blah. And then my well-being is measurably destroyed because now I have to wade through the shit on the internet of people regurgitating dipshit streamer takes about fucking securities. And it just drives me fucking crazy. And I hate it. I fucking hate it. I knew I was going to hate my life this week. As soon as I saw everything unfolding, when I wasn't even streaming and I saw the Jamie shit, I knew I was going to fucking hate my life because I knew all the dumb fucking politicization and all this stupid misinformation flying around this was going to make me want to fucking in a video game myself. Like, Jesus Christ. I think he was being really defensive because he seemed really nervous about being canceled, especially about being accused about giving financial advice. I mean, like, he calls himself the stock guy, and he said, and then he fucking sells like a fucking newsletter with like economic news. I mean, I'm not saying he's giving financial. I don't know if it's illegal or not. I'm just saying, like, don't sit here. Don't. Like, we're both streamers, okay? Like, at least I'm honest about what I do, okay? I sell subscriptions on my site that are literally worth fucking nothing. I'm pretty sure it even says it when you subscribe. It's like, this is literally just like you're a better person for subbing to me. Like, that's it. If he wants to sell, like not stock tips, if he wants to sell, like, financial news or whatever, like, that's fine. But just don't be here, like, preaching to me, like, oh, well, I help people with their 401ks and refinance their houses. And it's like, okay, sure. But, like, you're making money off this. Don't sit here and pretend like you're doing this out of the fucking goodness of your heart. Like, you're making money. I'm not here streaming out of the goodness of my fucking heart. Well, actually, I like streaming. I do it anyway, but I make a lot of money doing it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you about it. Like, oh yeah, like, I'm just blah, 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 blah. Like, damn. Like, just, like, we can be honest about what we're doing. Jesus. Not to mention the fact that, like, and I almost brought this up, but I didn't want to because I know he would try to weasel out of it. Like, everything about this guy's fucking thing, like, screams like stock tips. Like, he's called the stock guy. I can get into a morning call that gives me, like, pre-market information and morning notes, trader voice chat. Like, I mean, like, I'm not saying that, like, I don't know if it's illegal. I'm not saying it's illegal, but I'm just saying, like, damn, dude, how are you going to sit here and pretend, oh, it's just news? Like, dude, fuck me. I just want to play Dark Souls. I don't care about it. I'm going back to not caring about this. I hate all of this shit. Sorry. Does it make you sad that every time you have a simple discussion with people, everyone thinks it's a fucking debate? Well, the problem is that what I said before is that, like, oh, Hajri, thanks. The problem is what I said before is that, like, I legitimately believe that if you spend, like, 2 hours of research on a particular topic, you will be more informed than most content creators. Not even, I'm ignoring the general audience, but, like, even most people that act like they're experts talking about things, you'll probably be more informed than them if you spend, like, a couple hours reading on a particular topic. Like, unironically, like, it's not an exaggeration.
I just want to say, for the record, that he kept saying I didn't want to talk about legal things, but he was explicitly calling out these firms for illegal activities. So naked shorting is illegal. Firms have been censored for this, and they have been fined for this. And so it is explicitly an illegal or a legal accusation that he's making. The same thing when they're saying that Robinhood is front running your orders when they're sending it to market makers. So what front running is they look and they see, hey, you want to buy 100 Robinhood stocks. So I'm going to go to the market, I'm going to buy those 100 Robinhood stocks, and then I'm going to sell them back to you. That's illegal front running, and that's what he's accusing them of. What the market makers have to do is if they want to accept the orders onto their books, they have to give you the current best price in the market or better in order to sell that deal flow over to them, right? So they can pay to take the other side of those trades because they know you're a bunch of dumb fucks and you're probably going to lose all your money. And so they'd rather pay to be able to get those positions rather than someone else in the market potentially getting those. That's the whole point of paying for order flow. What Citadel was accused of was a bunch of old algorithms. They made about $5 million by illegally front running because of a coding error. They paid $22 million in fines, but they're paying $300 million a quarter or more for this retail order flow. Why would you pay $300 million to make $5 million over 4 years? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree. What's up?
Yeah, and then I guess a big thing that I'm just really disappointed in the stock guy for is he had a massive platform to
educate people. Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if people that were like leading that like get massive platforms doing this were like, hey guys, let's talk about like what's actually going on. Like, I feel like, did you ever see Jon Stewart talking to Kramer?
Yeah, it was actually great. Yeah. And I tried to reach out to the stock guy. He denied my friend request twice because I figured, hey, if he was going to go talk, I can spend 5 minutes filling him in on what's happening and he cannot be ill-informed about this. And like, I understand that he's doing a Twitch stream and everything and he can't do research. But if you have a platform to go talk with a congresswoman about a pressing issue that could impact the lives of millions of Americans, and you just fucking waste it on memes and fake outrage, I think that's absolutely obscene.
Yeah, it's like your Twitch channel is called TheStockGuy. Like, people are probably looking at you for some level of guidance. And then it feels like he's in like the 2011 era where it's like, oh, well, I can't control what my audience does. Like, I'm just here being a memer, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to tweet at AOC and say, hey, I want to give you a perspective from the common guy, and then she's saying you're coming on as like a stock expert, well, I'd certainly hope that you had at least a fundamental understanding of how the market works. And it appears that he like really just doesn't.
Yeah, because then he starts throwing around like a whole bunch of fucking like random fucking words and terms, and it's like, I don't even know like where to start. And I don't even really know that much about this shit. I'm a literal fucking Reddit expert. But like, this guy's like talking to like lawmakers or shit now, and it's like, well, fuck. But then when he comes on, his whole defense is like, well, you know, it's all just memes kind of. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really bad. And so one thing that happens a lot with like day traders, if you have like, you know, enough monkeys at a typewriter, you get Shakespeare. Well, with day traders, you have enough day traders come through these firms. One of them is going to make a ton of money and they're going to go on and kind of sell their success story. Like, I went to this firm, I learned this information, I made a bunch of money. Now I'm going to make my money selling this course because it's easier for me than trading, right? And so that's exactly what he does. Well, he's not saying like I'm on a yacht or whatever, but he's saying, you know what, I was in the military, my life was kind of bad, I had some other jobs, but you know, I learned how to trade and I made a bunch of money, with the same implicit thing of like, hey, I'm not going to tell you you're going to get rich, but if you follow these advice, you can have an okay life just like me, which is the exact same thing that's being done, maybe not to the same level of lying to people, but it's still very, or I think it's extraordinarily misleading about what's going on there.
When do you think this shit is going to be over so I don't have to hear about this fucking stock or all the play traders?
So it'll probably be at least a few weeks before I would say the market settles down. But I'm sure this is going to get litigated over for years. I mean, this is such an easy selling point to attack Wall Street for screwing the little guy. Everyone's going to take their soapbox.
Do you think that Melvin's positions are all actually closed?
I have no idea how to know for sure, but my guess is yes. So Bloomberg runs it. Bloomberg does not run with any rumors. I haven't seen anything bad that Bloomberg has published, so I would trust them saying it's closed. Point 72 and Citadel were companies that bought into Melvin. I know that they still have positions open, but they've had a pretty brutal first quarter or first month, I should say. I think they're down like 15% on the month or something like that, and Melvin's down like 30 or 35. So like these guys are having really, really bad, like historically bad months. As a hedge fund, you go down 2% or 3%. You don't go down 15% unless this is like 2008.
Yeah, but like a recession or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like this isn't like a big market event. They got crushed. Their risk management was poor. They made a lot of bad decisions, and it's okay that they're getting punished for it. But it's not just the Wall Street people that are out there taking blood, right? So they basically saw, or a lot of big firms basically saw the Wall Street bets people out there prodding the fish, and then the sharks came in and swooped up and cleaned everything else out. You can see activity on the tape that's very clearly indicative of large institutions coming in to mess with other institutions. On the first day, you saw a spike down immediately in one tick. It went down to the market or to the market halt, right? That was one institution going out there to get lots of massive shorts. And there is a lot of blood in the water, and Wall Street bets and all these retail investors think they're the ones causing it, think they understand what's going on, but they're just out there getting torn apart.
I feel like a lot of people seem to keep now, like the defense has changed, or the defense that people are trying to run with is that like, well, we know we're all going to lose money, we're just memeing. Do you think that the majority of the people that are jumping on this, that are like driving the prices up, do you think that they're actually just memeing, or do you think that people are going to get like actually fucked? So
there's a lot of people that are just going to say, hey, it's just memes, guy, I'm okay with losing it. And they're like, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to get evicted at the end of COVID anyways, right? I'm going to, I have all these things going wrong in my life. What's the matter if I lose my only like $3,000 or $5,000 on this because I feel like I'm participating? If you kind of look at the same thing with politics, there's a lot of very poor people who feel like they're doing the right thing by donating a lot to charity or to their candidates to get change done, even though they can't really afford it the same way that some of us like wealthier individuals are kind of better off doing. And I think the same thing's happening here. And I think a lot of it too is just like, I want to fit in with my friends. So you know what? I know 3 friends that are all in on GameStop, so I want to be a part of that. And then I'm going to latch on this bandwagon to feel like I'm a part of that
Part of a movement, yeah. Yeah, I think that the thing that's irritating me is there's a lot of people saying that like, oh no, it's all memes. We all know it's memes, but like there's been so much new activity in WallStreetBets and so many people like reporting this. Like I think there's a lot of people that are legitimately dumping a lot of money into this that they don't want to lose, expecting to like double or triple up because they see all the massive gains.
I think a big thing with retailers is they like to see momentum, and then they say like, oh shit, this guy made all this money and it's still going on. Well, I think I can still get in. I'm not going to be the one holding the bag at the bottom.
Because other people will come in behind me.
Exactly. And so like that's kind of sort of what's happening. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's kind of like the mentality of people getting to the stock right now. Well, shit, I hear people are saying it's going to 1,000, it's going to go to 2,000. Well, it's $300 right now. Yeah, it's expensive compared to what it was last year when it was $4. It's literally 100 times the price. But you know, if it's going to go up 3 times in value, then you know what, that seems like a good buy. I'm in. But the problem is most stocks appreciate at like 8 or 10% per year. The stuff that does like 15% out of this world, or like 20% like Amazon or Apple or Microsoft have, those are golden tickets. You now have people looking at this like a casino. Like I'm going to make 3 times my money in a month, right? That's insanity.
Yeah. On securities trading too, not even on options, but just on buying like the actual, like just the stocks themselves. I think they can triple their money.
Yeah. And then there's, I saw a post on WallStreetBets today that was like, oh, well, if you can't buy the stock, well, what you can do is you can buy an option and just exercise that option to get the 100 stocks that you want underlying. So you're paying a big premium to the market in order to try to get around Robinhood's risk controls. Robinhood is a fucking piece of shit firm. Their risk controls are absolutely dog shit. Like it's abysmal what they're allowed to get away with.
Sure. The premiums on options right now, though, regarding these tickers is fucking massive, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I was looking earlier this week, and the implied volatility was somewhere around 7,000%.
Yeah.
Right.
So even people that think they're getting it like a shortcut, like just buying options and exercising them, are most likely getting fucked. Most of these people are going to be losing
they're 100%
hard.
getting fucked. To put this in perspective, like a Bitcoin or a Bitcoin option is going to have like 200% implied volatility or 300% implied volatility. And Bitcoin, as volatile as that is like, 100 to 200% realized volatility when it's at its worst. So they're getting sold options that are 30 to 35 times more expensive than if they were gambling on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I guess the big takeaway from this is there's a lot of people who use platforms like Twitch and things of this nature to I have a lot of really negative feelings towards a lot of these big financial press firms. What they're doing may be technically legal, but I think it goes against the spirit of what all the regulations around Wall Street and investor protections and things like that are for. Sure, they may do some good. The problem is they kind of blur the line between when they're saying, hey, you know what? Rates are low. Like if you guys have mortgages, maybe go talk to your banker, or like, hey, if you guys have 401ks, you should probably take that and do some education. And then they blend it with the degenerate gambling and say, oh, well, it's still entertainment because I'm giving this other advice, as if that excuses the potentially financial advice, but more so the gamification of trading and like the get rich schemes that draws people's attention, like when people are playing slots. And I think that's horrible.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Fuck. Give me 1 minute. I need to watch this.
Breaker of chains. I want to teach people how to grow fuck you money. But that is what I want to do. Because you are conditioned to not know how to grow money, save money, make money, or invest money for a specific reason. So you always work your bullshit fucking job, your 9 to 5, 35 fucking years. You're too old to enjoy your life. Just to be able to pay off a bunch of goddamn interest and a bunch of debt.
Fuck, God, this is why I said I was uncomfortable bringing him on because I didn't even know what he'd said. Fuck.
And you're stuck in. Because it's a perpetual cycle.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think anybody who streams stocks, you should just treat them as hostile and bad actors until proven otherwise. He was on with AOC last night. I didn't really approve of much of what he had to say. And I think just there was a lot of lost opportunity squandered, and the opportunity for hundreds of thousands of people to get a little bit more informed about what was going on.
And potentially, as unbelievable as it is, maybe even AOC herself. Yeah. To get like a little bit of a better understanding rather than whatever. Although she was talking to some lady on her stream before she talked to...
Yeah, Alexis, I forgot her name, but she was with Wall Street, the Occupy Wall Street people. So she has some really crazy takes, but maybe they'll get a little bit of a better understanding.
Yeah, she, at the very least, she seemed to understand like the underlying fundamental terms and everything, or it seemed to be the case. I didn't listen past any like things she was talking about for this particular thing, but...
You were feeding into it.
I think another big thing that gets talked about is like the SEC investigation that's going to go on. So the SEC is going to take a really quick look at Robinhood's books, and they're going to either see that Robinhood was, getting margin called, which is what it looks like by everybody, where they literally liquidated everybody with margin positions. They went to the banks, they drew down every last line of credit they had. They took $1 billion.
$1 billion, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So they're going to look at Robinhood's books, and they're going to say, okay, yep, it looks like they were trying to meet a margin call. It made sense for them to trade these stocks because they wanted to have at least a partially functioning platform. The people who could do it, they were still allowing people to sell out if they wanted to.
Can you, real quick, can you explain what that means when you said they're trying to meet a margin call? Is it that they're trying to like collateralize like new trades that are going on, or?
Yeah. So how everything kind of works is there's a number of financial intermediaries between yourself and the other counterparty who's buying from you. So you give money to your broker. So your broker has a margin account with you where they say they have your stocks and money, but then the margin or the broker also has a margin account with their clearing firm because they need to go to their clearing firm and say, hey, I need to take the money from Steve and you need to buy the stock and give it back to me.
And to be clear, sometimes this clearing firm can be like a different department of like the same company or something, right?
Well, no, it has to be an entirely separate firm legally with firewalls in place between, but
sure,
yes,
but it'll be like the same entity. So like Robinhood, for instance, has their own, and yeah, you're right, it's not a different department, but it's a different company, but it's owned by,
Yeah, so they do have their own clearing firm. So JP Morgan, a lot of the big investment banks have their own clearing
Fidelity,
firms. That's fine. And then all those people meet in the middle at the central clearing depository. And then on the other side, it's the same thing. So then it's the sellers or the buyers, your counterparty's clearing firm, and then their broker, and then you. And then the counterparty you're buying from, right? So in order to have margin to this account, everyone has to say that, all right, we know generally what order flows look like in a day, net order flow can look like. So we're going to require you to have, 20% of your funds with the central depository, because we know generally that, you're going to buy 500 stocks and you may sell 700 or something. So we need to know you're good for it. But on average, like we know this is a good range to keep everybody solving.
I'm totally bullshitting and guessing here. I'm guessing there's probably some sort of regulation as well that says there must be some minimum collateral as well, right?
Regulation as like to what the minimum account is, and then what the minimum of margin based on how much stuff you have. Yeah, there's like literally thousands and thousands of pages of regulation on this. And so what the central depository does is it looks at the volatility of the stocks that are in, and it'll say really boring stocks that aren't doing fuck all like for it. Well, those have like a really, really low margin. It may be like 25% of the value of the stocks or something, right? Or it may be like 50% if you have something a little bit more risky like Apple or Microsoft. But then when things start going crazy for micro cap stocks or small cap stocks like GME, well, they'll force you to post the full collateral for that trade there, right? And so if one person buys it, that's not really a problem. But when you have thousands and thousands of order flows that are abnormal and in one direction, and on these stocks that are very high margin, well then the broker, the central repository is going to go to the clearing firm and say, hey, we need you to put up more collateral. And the clearing firm is going to say to the broker, well, I don't feel comfortable putting up this much money for you. I need you to give me some more money. And so that's what happens with Robinhood. So
if Robinhood is closing the margin accounts, why is it that the actual people just depositing cash in, why can't they just front the money from that cash over to the clearinghouse?
So it takes a little bit of time for money to go from account to account, right, in our financial system. It's not like I can just send you money while wires clear a couple times per day. That's the fastest way you can send it. If it's sent over ACH, it takes like 2 or 3 days. And one thing Robinhood does is, for new users, the first $1,000 you deposit, they'll instantly give that to you as margin because they expect it to clear because they want you to come in, and their risk threshold is you're probably not going to lose that $1,000 before you cancel that, or enough people won't do it that it's worthwhile. And then on top of that, Robinhood gives access to Robinhood Gold. So for $5 a month, you can get 2 times leverage on everything that's the maximum allowable by Regulation T. So there's a lot of retail traders potentially that were coming into Robinhood for the first time, getting that $1,000 fronted discounted, paying $5 out of that 1,000 to get another $1,000 of buying power, and then using it to buy GameStop and in kind of an abnormal order flow. And so Robinhood almost certainly got margin called by themselves, the clearing firm, who got margin called by the central repository, and they were unable to meet it. And so in order to meet it, what they had to do was they needed to call back all the margin from all their users after hours. And yeah, it's like the stock guy said, it's really shitty when you have a margin position open and you just get closed down for it, but that's in their terms of service. You can't have a broker or a clearing firm or a brokerage go illiquid when they could have closed positions out, even if it sucks for the end user of it, right? And it was, to be clear, it was only people with margin positions, as far as I'm aware, that had their positions closed out.
Someone in chat said, can you ask why the hedge funds didn't have these same restrictions? So hedge funds don't use fucking brokerages or whatever. Like they've got like a much more direct connection, I imagine, and their capital is way more.
Prime brokers, but it's essentially the same thing. They do have the same restrictions. They can get leverage, but the way they get leverage is different. So they basically go out and get a loan like a normal company would. They go to a bank and say, hey, I'm a big hedge fund. I've got $10 billion. I'd like to borrow, $10 billion or $20 billion. And then they get the money from a bank who they're responsible to pay that back for. They're not getting the leverage from their prime broker.
So they're collateralizing like their own.
Yeah, they're essentially going out. It's like you getting a mortgage on your house and then using that to put into your broker, and then your broker giving you the allowable 2 times leverage on that. That's essentially what they do. So while they may be more highly levered than the average retail trader, they're doing it in much the same way, except for they're doing it based on their credit. I guess it would be like you going out and getting an uncollateralized loan. But the same thing kind of happens to these people. They do get margin calls. They have to post collateral, and they will get that capital called back if they're losing a lot of money. I mean, if you look at Melvin Capital, they had to go out and they, in a fire sale, had to raise $3 billion, probably to meet margin calls from from their lenders, who are saying like, shit, dude, where's your risk management? You're getting your ass handed to you on this GameStop shorts. Why the fuck aren't you pulling out? I understand that, but I don't care. I want my money. So they go sell a pound of flesh to get that $3 billion.
Can you explain why would a clearinghouse, let's say that there's a lot of volatility around like a particular security, the implied volatility is very high. Why would the clearing? Yeah, go ahead.
So implied volatility is something for options. It's different than a stock. So volatility is just a measure of how much something goes up or down. Implied volatility is specific to options, and it's about what the price of the option says about what people think volatility will be in the future.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, okay, interesting.
So anyways,
wait, do you know anything? Wait, have you ever heard the difference between odds and implied odds in poker?
Yes, it's that's the exact.
Yeah, it sounds exactly the same. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so if the volatility is really high in a particular security that a bunch of people are buying, why would the clearinghouse margin call on the brokerage?
Because the clearinghouse, when it takes the all right, so the central repository is a counterparty to both of the clearing firms' trades. So my clearing firm says I'm going to buy GME, but it's the other side of that is the clearing firm. So they're on the hook to make sure that GME is delivered to my clearing firm. And on the other side of that transaction, they're going to buy that GME to sell to us, and their counterparty for that is the other clearing firm. So your clearing firm is not the counterparty to the other clearing firm. So if they go insolvent, the central clearing body is responsible for making good on that trade to you. And so because of that, because they're liable for both sides of that trade, if there's a lot of unusual activity and there's a lot of volatility and they're not sure if you're going to be able to pay them out, then they're going to require you to give more money so then they can take that other side of the transaction to make sure that.
Yeah, so this is what I don't understand. In terms of not being sure if you're going to pay them out, if you were just restricting customer accounts to non-margins, why wouldn't they be able to continue to allow that? Like, why wouldn't they be sure that they will be able to pay them out? Is it just because they'd have to tap into more credit in order to do it, or?
Well, so there's a couple of things. So one is options. So the derivatives or things like that can have unlimited losses. And two, they have no idea. They don't look at the brokerage book to see if they're on margin or not, or if they're good for it. They don't look at, the whole statements of like, let me look at all your bank accounts. They literally say, hey, I have this amount of money in my account, and that's what I can take as recourse. And Anything after that, I'm going to have to sue and get in line with potentially all the other debtors and everyone else to get the rest of the money that I'm owed. They only have control over that one shared escrow account, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay. If prices were being driven up, or I'm sorry, if trading was happening, if volumes were increasing, but the volatility of the stock remained relatively stable, the clearinghouse would continue to ask for the same percentages of collateral to secure the trades?
And it depends on the flow in and out as well, right? So if you're buying like tens of thousands of additional stocks every day, but you're also selling tens of thousands of additional stock, well, then your net position for that day in terms of stock flow in or out is going to be closer to neutral. But what was likely happening with...
Will clearinghouses trade with themselves, or will they always meet another clearinghouse?
Yeah, so you can do this. It's over the counter or block trades. So if I'm like JP Morgan and I want to sell Goldman Sachs or Warren Buffett like $100 million of Coca-Cola or something, well, then I can do what's known as an over-the-counter trade, where I can go directly to them and we can trade, but then we're counterparties to each other in that trade, and the central clearing firm is not responsible for making do. But most retail order flow doesn't flow through that.
Gotcha. So at the end of the day, Robinhood, as a brokerage, or a brokerage like independent of their clearinghouse, they don't at the end of the day try to settle the trades on their own books. They'll by default they just pass things along to their clearinghouse, and then the clearinghouse will end up.
Yes, they have to in order to do that, right? So some of them that are larger might have their own trading desk, where they might are like another essentially related firm that'll have a trading desk that they can settle internally, or they'll try to settle internally between like their own clients. So like if you and I both worked for or used Robinhood as a broker, and then I bought GME and you sold GME, they'll try to settle internally, and then they'll go out to the central clearing for you.
Gotcha. Okay. Wait, is there anything you think I don't understand or that I've gotten wrong on this? Because I know a lot of people are going to be bugging me about this for the next few days.
Yeah. So, shoot, there was one thing else I wanted to talk about. Give me 30 seconds to think about it.
So somebody said, ask him if we would have this problem if Robinhood did not grant everyone with their app limited margin. So my understanding is that even if there was zero margin, we would still be running into this particular problem because the volatility on the stock is so high that the collateral requirements would have been higher for the clearinghouse, and Robinhood as a brokerage wouldn't have the capital to front them because you still have to wait 2 days for trade to settle.
Yes, right? And the net order or the net flow order into Robinhood, right? So if Robinhood was still buying 10,000 stocks per day and selling net 10,000 stocks per day, there probably wouldn't be that issue. But because everyone was going to Robinhood to buy GameStop, it was causing a big net flow, which would still have the draw into Robinhood's account with the central clearing body, essentially, right?
Yeah, and that central clearing body is not going to hold trillions of dollars to just wait for like massive inflows of new security. Like they probably hold like a certain amount of money because a certain amount of collateral is expected, right? So if massive volume increases happen, even if the they're still gonna, even if they got rid of every margin trader that was working on Robinhood, in a way, tell me if I'm correct in saying this, in a way, it's all still kind of sort of done on margin. It just depends on whose margin we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all done on margin because like they have to have a counterparty. So the clearing firm has to have a counterparty with the central clearing depository, right? But they also have to have one with their brokerages, because the brokerage is going to say, hey, wait, you owe me money. I need to have some collateral like for these things that I'm selling, right? So there's margin accounts all the way through, and that's okay.
Yeah, because you wouldn't expect everybody to be you would expect everybody to be sitting on billions of dollars just waiting around to execute orders for other people, right? People have to work.
Yeah, because then you're going to have to wait not only for the clearing time, but then you're going to have to send the money to this account, and then that guy's going to have to send it to this account.
So if we wanted to do that, we could do a direct, like, I buy a stock and my physical fucking dollars, well, digital dollars, are the ones that change hands at the end of the day. But in order to do that, you would be waiting at a minimum 2 or 3 days for you to actually have possession of that security, right?
And then also I'm having to deal with you as a counterparty. I don't know how good your credit is, right? Like I can sign these stocks over to you, but I don't know if that check's going to clear, right? When you're trading with a central depository, they become the other side of that trade. And these things are massive. So there's like no counterparty risk at all really doing like that. With over-the-counter trades, there's a lot more risk. If you're dealing with a mega bank or something, then sure, like there's probably a lot less of a risk that Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan may go insolvent, but they could, especially if you're buying like derivatives or whatever off of them. But for the most part, like the central repository, if that goes down, our entire financial system is over. So people kind of treat that like the Federal Reserve, and it's pretty okay.
Gotcha. So I see this take a lot. So I'm trying to explain things just to make sure I have an understanding. So it's not just you explaining things. So people saying short selling is over 100% is the problem. So theoretically, if people have good reason to believe that a security is going to fall, and as long as everybody has like proper collateral, there's not really a problem with shorting over 100% of the float of a stock, right? Of all available
Correct.
stock. Like,
and you can think about this as like, hey, you know, some guy comes with some information to the market, and it's like, all right, I need to short this stock. It's way overvalued at like $100, right? So the stock goes down to like $80, and he says, hey, this information is still bad. But you know, I kind of have like my collateral reached. I really don't want to risk that much more in the stock. And then another guy comes through and says, "Wow, I found some more information. Right? There's literally a fraud going on in this company. I'm going to go out and borrow as much as I can, and I'm going to short onto it. Right? And then the stock goes down from like 80 to 50, and now you have like 100% of it shorted. Then another guy comes through and says, "Oh, wait, that latest accusation of fraud. Wait, this brought more information to the market actually, because now, because of what this guy brought out, well, I can actually put this and this and this together, and now like here's like 6 more accusations of fraud. The whole company's Enron, and it's going to zero. And so people will go out and try to continually borrow more shares until the price hits whatever the fair equilibrium is, which is fine.
Yeah, I gotcha. People are saying, so this guy said, the order flow is not one-sided to the buy side on the retail side. There is no proof of this. In fact, it has been relatively even, so the brokers do not have more inflow than outflow on GME stocks. My understanding of this, you can tell me if I'm wrong real quick. My understanding of this is that even if the flows were even, when you sell something, that can just be like settled immediately. But when you go to buy something, there's another third party that has to put up the collateral for that purchase. That if I want to sell something, that's like money that is just immediately available. But if I want to buy something, there's another company that has to put the money up for that to happen, which is why that takes a little bit. Is that not true? Or?
Yeah, well, kind of, because basically the sell is the other side of the buy transaction, where your brokerage is basically doing you the courtesy of fronting the money off of that transaction because they expect it to come through. You can get what's known as a, I forget which trading, it's Reg T it's a Reg T day trading violation. If I sell a stock, get the money from my broker, and then buy another stock and then sell it again before that first money clears back in, right? Because I'm essentially trading on borrowed money. Obviously, if I like buy a stock and hold it for whatever, then it's kosher. But that's essentially is what happening is your brokerage is doing the kindness out of their heart to give you the money from your trade immediately, while they go out and actually collect from the other counterparty.
Gotcha. Okay, everybody's asking about the short interest. People are saying that the short interest right now proves that there's still a whole bunch of outstanding short positions by American
I want to say the short interest has actually gone up. I think the short interest is probably closer to 300% if I had to wager a guess. So the thing is, like, if GameStop is like $50 and people think it's going to go to $40, somewhere between 20 and 40, if that's their estimate, well, people are going to look at that and say it's kind of expensive to short it. Seems a little bit risky with WallStreetBets kind of pushing on it. You know, that's not my cup of tea. I'm not really going to make that much money. It's going to put a lot of risk in my book. It's not for me. But when the price gets pushed up to like $100, well, then people will start saying, well, I still think that $20 to $40 is reasonable. And now instead of making, 20% of this trade, well, I'm looking at making, 60%. So now that kind of asymmetric upside versus downside seems, pretty reasonable. And then as you kind of go up and up with that to like $200, $300, $400, $500, there's all sorts of institutions saying, damn, look at this downside. I could get 90% on this, right? I know my risk tolerance isn't that great, but if you just look at what it is, well, then there's more people that are actually going to want to get in on shorting the higher end price that it goes, right?
Okay, that makes sense. So if the price is low, the short interest is going to be low because people think there's a good chance that the price is going to increase and the amount of money being made, you're not being adequately compensated for that risk. But as the price of a security climbs and climbs and climbs, people are thinking, well, the chance of it going up, maybe that's still kind of the same, but now my compensation for this risk might be like 80 or 90%, which starts to make it more worthwhile to short, even if you don't think even if your risk tolerance isn't higher, even if you don't think, like, the compensation is still way higher, basically, right?
Yeah, well, it's the risk-adjusted compensation, right?
Gotcha.
That's the big thing.
Risk-adjusted compensation is going to be based. This is like a fancy word kind of for like expected value, right? Like, what do you think your compensation is going to be multiplied by the risk or whatever, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
How do you know the short interest percent? Somebody's asking.
So this comes out like in post. Basically, it gets published every day. I think it's on a delayed basis, but you can see. So there's a market that you guys can look at how many shares are out for borrow and what the interest rate is, and you can use that as a proxy for how many people are interested and at what price to go short. I can see if I can find a link for you guys, but if you just like Google like short interest, I want to say it's like QuantTrader, NASDAQ Trader, or something that has it out for free. That basically says, here's the market clearing rate and how many shares are for offer and at what price, right? And so the shares available have been kind of stable or going down, but the price to borrow has been up. So because the price to short it is more expensive, you can just naturally assume that more people are shorting it and taking supply of that.
Can you explain to me, I'm trying to think of why are people saying if the short interest is high, that must mean that Melvin didn't close their positions. Why are people saying that?
Well, because Melvin had a lot of short interest on the stock, right? So they're saying that, oh, well, if Melvin, if it's up, then Melvin must be doubling down. Well, no, it doesn't. It means that the net effect of everybody in the market, Melvin could have closed their short interest, but if two people opened short interest, well, then it's going to look like it went up by one. And so people are going to conspiracy say that, hey, Melvin actually took a short position. And at the end of the day, no one's actually going to know what happened, what Melvin did, besides people within the company itself.
And then there's a certain form, what is it called?
Well, so the 13F, I'm sorry, Apple, but you lied to Destiny about this. You don't actually have to report your shorts. You have to report your puts and calls. You have to report your long positions. You have to report your bonds. And you have to report, there's one other thing. It's a smaller security. But you don't have to report short interest at all. You don't have to report futures. So that information is just never going to be made public. It may be made accessible to investors in the fund, but
like in a newsletter, or if shareholders say this needs to be disclosed or something like that, right?
Well, but that's the thing with a hedge fund, you don't actually have to disclose anything if it's in your PPM, right? I could just take your money and then just tell you, all I have to do is tell you at the end of every month or whatever the thing says what your account balance is.
Or what I'm saying is that like the only way that would happen is like if I shouldn't say shareholders, if people on the board or whatever deemed that information necessary and they like publish it in a newsletter and say to the shareholders, that's the only way that information would ever get out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or if some guy like leaked it out of the company that, they had whatever. But
what is short interest? Can you explain that concept? Is that just...
So short interest is basically how many people are, or how many shares of a stock is shorted in comparison to the number of stocks outstanding, right? So I might say that there is 1% short interest if 1 out of every 100 shares has been borrowed and sold into the market.
Gotcha. But that doesn't actually correlate to like an interest percent or anything, right? Or that doesn't refer to any type of paid. That's just like, that just tells you the...
Correct.
Yeah, the total number of outstanding short positions versus the total availability of the stock, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay, gotcha, yeah. Oh, and then what did you say? So I know that people complain about short selling a lot. I want to say there was a National Bureau of Economic Research, an NBER study that was posted that showed that short selling has some negative effect on companies. What was your position on that earlier? Did you?
So for the most part, short selling is a very, very good and healthy part of the market. There's a lot of studies, if you go and look at it, that when markets where they've gotten rid of short selling, the markets are significantly less efficient. It's worse for investors. Short selling as a whole is very good for the market. There's predatory short selling, where people use misinformation, bad information, doctored reports to drive prices down on companies and things like that and make it harder for them to raise capital.
To be clear, though, on that doesn't really have anything to do with the short selling. Short selling is just a vehicle being used for the misinformation. Like that could be done with just... okay.
To profit off of that, right? And then because they're driving the price down so low, it makes it hard for the company to actually raise capital to run.
Because the valuation is so fucked on the company, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that does happen, but for the most part, short selling is a very important part of the market. If you're only allowed to buy then you send the price just drastically higher than what's reasonable.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there anything else I'm missing?
And then in terms of, I guess, naked short selling. So the problem with naked short selling is there's two terms for this. So naked short selling, the legal definition of what naked short selling is I go to you, I sell you a share of GameStop, I tell you I have a share of GameStop, but I haven't found a locate for that. And so then I'm just creating a share of GameStop to give to you, and then it just doesn't exist. I haven't gone out to borrow it. So what it gets confused with is naked shorting. So, or sorry, with naked options. So I can sell an option on a security and it has unlimited downside if the security goes way up or down. If I sell a put and the security goes like way down, or if I sell a call and the security goes to infinity, I could be on the hook for essentially infinity dollars. And so those are naked options because you're unprotected against like downside, right? And so when people say naked shorting, they're saying people that have unlimited downside from the short, but that's all shorting, right? So it just gets confused.
Theoretically, you can use options to like leverage to hedge against your position, right? Like
yes, yeah, that's the whole point of options is like insurance, right? So let's say that I was
you could massively short a stock, but then you could buy options. Like if it increases to a certain price, you could execute those options so that you're not completely. You can theoretically eliminate the unlimited upside using options.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So you would short the stock, and then you would buy some call options that were way above what the stock price is, and then your maximum loss would be the execution price of those.
The strike price, yeah.
When's it a good time to short? Well, if you have to ask, then it's probably not a good time to short. What short selling is, so when you buy a stock, you're going long, you're betting that the price is going to appreciate. What short selling is you're taking the opposite side of that position. You're saying that this stock is going to go down in value. And so when the stock goes up, you lose money. And when it goes down, you gain money. Sorry, there's so many people in chat. If you keep posting your messages, I'll keep looking for you guys. Opinion on box spreads versus iron condors. I mean, if you have to ask for an opinion, you shouldn't be trading them. How do I become a millionaire? Buy a lot of index funds and hold them for many years. And you'll eventually be a millionaire because of inflation and the growth of the world economy. If Robinhood sells information to Citadel, what prevents them from using that information to sell by push the price to my stop loss or trailing stop loss? So when they're selling that order flow, they're just selling that some guy wants to buy like a share of stock for like $50 or wants to sell a share. They're not pushing that entire stack of information out to them. They're just saying that, hey, some dumb fuck wants to buy a share of GameStop, and Citadel knows that you dumb fucks are going to lose money. So they're willing to pay Robinhood a lot of money to choose to be on the other side of these trades, right? Do shorts expire? No, but you have to pay interest on borrowing it every day. So eventually, like you'll run out of money covering or to pay for those shorts if it doesn't go down, right? Does this have larger implications for the market, or is just a big meme that doesn't matter? To put this in perspective, GameStop is like a $15 billion company. You add up all the other meme stocks, they're maybe 30 or 50 or $100 billion. Even if they were to all like vaporize every single stock right now, I mean, some funds might go down. There might be a little bit of instability. You might lose a brokerage, but at the end of the day, this is like a small blip. Can a retail trader short? If so, what brokerage lets you? I'm fairly sure if you can open a margin account. I don't know what the requirements are for that, but if your brokerage lets you on a margin account, then you'll be able to open shorts. Do I think there's anything shady behind Citadel Robinhood stuff? No, it just looks shady because people don't know what's happening behind the scenes. How much do I need to donate for you to stop using push to talk? Well, if you keep gifting subs, we'll see when I stop. Can I say something funny? Something funny. Admit you're shorting GameStop and we cool? No, I'm not shorting GameStop. I don't own any GameStop in my personal portfolio. What's the difference between a put and a short? So a put is the right to sell a stock at a given price at or before a certain date if it's American, or on that date if it's a European option. A short is saying that whatever the price is going down now, I have the right to buy it back whenever I want. So they're both betting on the price to go down, but a put doesn't start paying out until that price is reached, and then it'll pay out the difference between that if the option is exercised, and it's also for 100 lots of a stock. What's the difference between an eagle and a bogey? You might have to ask someone who golfs. I'm a non-teist. Why should I not buy anything I have to ask for an opinion on? If you're not able to form your own opinion on something, you shouldn't be trading that instrument. Should I invest in Dogecoin? I mean, I don't think anybody should really invest in any crypto outside of Bitcoin or Ethereum unless they've done their own research. Like, I know fuck all about it. All I know is that the third largest one by Ripple got sued by the SEC. So I wouldn't fuck with any of that. That seems awfully fucking dangerous. He doesn't own GameStop. That just means we're winning. Well, I mean, I guess I own it indirectly through index funds, but like basically all my shit is like super boring index funds and then like some basically revenue generating stuff on top of that. Like it's super fucking boring. It's plain vanilla. There's like nothing special going on. I have to get everything that's done cleared by compliance for me to do shit, and it's a pain in the fucking ass. So I just don't. Yeah, like basically, like esports Batman says, only invest in things and businesses you know a lot about, like hobbies and the like. If you're not bringing information to market, you're just a pig going to get slaughtered. Game crash tomorrow or Monday. I have no fucking clue. If I knew, I would be a very, very wealthy man. But I have no idea. I don't work on any of that. If you're wearing shorts, then how would you be naked? Well, because you have unlimited downside. Your shorts have like a hole in it, right? It doesn't cover anything. How do I feel about target date funds? I think they're reasonable, but the problem is they're not personalized to what you need. You may have liquidity needs at other points in your life, right? If you're going to buy a house, well, then and you're like in your 20s, well, then you're probably going to need a lot more bonds.
All right.
Than that.
I love you. It's been fun.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.
I'd like to plug my stream, www.twitch.tv/Ragepope.